Ian Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The most anticipated backup quarterback position in the NFL took another twist yesterday. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Of course, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. Of course, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders because every day it feels like, Pearl, there's another stepping stone of this story, if you will. So a couple of things. One, Shedeur is going to play in the third preseason game, but Joe Flacco is going to play and Dillon Gabriel is going to play. So, we'll see how much time he actually gets and what the state of the game is at that point where you could actually prove something to the team. Before we get to Shedeur commenting on Dillon Gabriel's comments about there are competitors and there are entertainers, which was kind of taken and run with the internet and fans, that maybe Gabriel was taking a shot at Shedeur, which Gabriel later clarified he was not. Do you think Shedeur is going to have a shot at the backup job?
Oh, no, definitely not. I do think Kenny Pickett is going to be the backup. Now, let's assume Joe Flacco survives this game.
Now you're on the Joe Flacco may get hurt.
You've been everybody there has been getting hurt.
Yeah,
so Joe Flacco will start the season. They have this really hard schedule to start. And then by the time you're going to need the backup, Kenny Pickett will be fully healthy because he's already back in 11 on 11. He's just, they decided not to play him in this game. I think that I think they'll keep four quarterbacks and Kenny Pickett, the veteran, will be the backup because it makes a lot of sense. You don't want to throw a rookie in as a backup, number two. So I think it goes Flacco 1, Pickett 2.
Okay, but when you think about what are the qualities that you really want from a backup quarterback, right? A guy can be ready at a moment's notice. We saw this happen last night, the preseason game. If you were watching the Giants, Jackson Dart has to go in concussion protocol. Jameis Winston comes in, throws a touchdown. Then he threw maybe the worst interception I've ever seen in my entire life later in the game, but so goes the Jameis experience.
Who cares about those details?
You're not going to give me a week 3 preseason game as your analogy here, but okay.
No, I'm just saying you got to be ready to go is what I'm saying. This is what's the best quality of a backup quarterback is your availability. And I know Kenny Pickett was doing 11 on 11s, but this hamstring issue has really lingered much longer than I'm sure anyone thought.
But it's got to be, is the guy's hamstring fall off his leg completely? Is it going to be a 6-month injury? At some point soon, he's got to get back, and he's practicing.
No, he is practicing.
So it can't be that bad. By the time they need the backup, he's going to be fine.
Well, but that's what you're saying. By the time they need the backup, you never know when that moment is coming. You didn't even know at that moment last night is why I use the example. Jackson Dart ends up fumbling the ball and they get it back because of a penalty. But, his head hits the turf. It did not even look like something that would normally get you into a blue tent. And so all of a sudden, you just never, ever know. And Dart's fine. They said he cleared concussion protocol. But, that's the thing about a backup. You never know when you're going to need him. And so to me, I actually do not think that it's going to be Pickett.
Okay.
I think it is going to be Dillon Gabriel. I don't think it's going to be Shedeur. Okay, so the elephant in the room, because Shedeur gets a lot of attention. Dillon Gabriel does an interview in-game last week against your Philadelphia Eagles where he was asked, and I went back and watched the entire interview for the third time.
Yeah.
And the question was just, how do you tune out the noise and don't let it infiltrate? Aditi never says what the noise is. The question before is not anything about Shedeur. It's about leadership and communication. There's no mention of Shedeur or anything. It's just, how do you tune out the noise? Here's what Dillon Gabriel said about it.
You gave us some fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work.
Okay, so unclear, right?
Well, Aditi said, you've already said this before. Apparently, he's already said it. She's like, we know your philosophy is entertainers versus competitors.
Right, but there's no other, you can understand why there would be some confusion because there was people took that in kind of a Rorschach test kind of way. Whatever you heard from that are the entertainers the media? Is the entertainer Shedeur? A lot of people thought it was about Shedeur Sanders. Now, Gabriel's credit.
But wait, can we just say, Aditi's clearly referencing like an established thing that Dillon Gabriel said. She makes it very clear. She said, you've already shared this wonderful philosophy on how to approach the situation.
No,
so
but
Aditi knows.
But what's the situation? She does tune out the noise.
Yeah, tune out the noise. All the people paying attention to the Browns quarterback competition, obviously.
Right, but like, why is there noise? It's not because he's competing with Snoop Huntley.
No, because the entire nation's been paying attention to this Browns quarterback situation. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely. But then when he says there's competitors and entertainers, he's not making it clear that when he says entertainers, he means Stephen A. Smith. He means local media in Cleveland. Well, a lot of people took that as he's talking about Shedeur because Shedeur has a rap career. He is very entertaining. He is, reality TV. Cameras are always very close by. Right. So that's where the confusion came from. Now, meanwhile, here's the update to the story. The update to the story is that Dillon Gabriel, after that game, did clear the air. And then here's from Shedeur Sanders. He downplayed the Gabriel comments at first, says Gabriel came up to him and tried to tell him what he meant.
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, nah, bro, that wasn't. He said, that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me.
Okay, so I think Shedeur did a good job there of saying first, like, no, I'm not going to be, worried about what anyone says. And also, Dillon came up to me on the plane and said I wasn't even thinking about this. Now, the follow-up question is where we get a little bit something interesting. The follow-up question was whether or not Shedeur believed Gabriel that he was not taking a shot at Shedeur.
Did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did, he didn't. That's not going to change my life in any way.
So there you go. There clearly is a little bit of tension here because when he says, do you believe him that he didn't mean a sideswipe to you, Shedeur could have said, yes, I believe him. And instead he said, I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's something here, whether Dillon Gabriel meant it, didn't mean it.
He didn't mean it, and there's something here with Shedeur.
But, okay.
Shedeur is obviously, like, I love Shedeur, but Shedeur has a habit of saying the wrong thing sometimes.
Okay, so I think there's a couple people at fault here because now this story is back up in the media.
I want to hear the couple because there's clearly one to me.
Why is Shedeur doing a press conference yesterday? What third-string, fourth-string quarterback in the NFL is doing a pre-game press conference for Game 3 of the preseason?
Yeah.
To say that the Browns are not a party to this circus or that they are not in ways, this is not a clear competition. This is not above board. Like, they are doing this for the circus element of it. Why in the world, and would any other fourth-string quarterback be doing a press conference yesterday?
I kind of like it, though. Well, one thing you could argue, like, they want to see what they have in these quarterbacks, and maybe this is, in their mind, part of the process. Like, how do they deal with the media? And obviously, like, this is a pretty minor thing, big picture. Like, oh, well, Shedeur didn't do a great job there. In my mind, like, why this is akin to Shedeur calling out his offensive line after the Nebraska game. Like, why don't you just, automatically on good teams, you just back up a teammate no matter what. Like, that's what you do. It shouldn't even, like, be a second thought. You're a quarterback. Your teammate is always right. Everyone else is always wrong.
I actually agree with you on this one.
Yeah, how would you not agree with me? Like, what, are you supposed to call out your teammate on an NFL team? Why would anyone do that?
No, well, because he clearly thinks that Gabriel may have fired the first shot. So this is the thing about Shedeur. I don't think that he handled this the right way. He's a likable guy. You watch the whole press conference here. He's got charisma, obviously. But I don't think he did handle this the right way because there are times in life when you have to do the PR thing and you just got to sidestep the question. And even for somebody whose life has been a reality TV show since they were a kid, because Dion literally had a reality TV show, cameras following him Kardashian style, when Shedeur was a child, you have to know the moment when you can have like the radical honesty and times when you just have to kind of play it down the middle. And
yeah, it's a good way to
Shedeur
put
doesn't
it.
have that. And obviously, the other part of this is Shedeur hasn't earned having radical honesty when it comes to the pros. And this is not a shut up and dribble thing. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about PR.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn being able to get into a press conference and say whatever the hell you want. And by the way, quarterbacks, like, I don't know if you ever, besides Aaron Rodgers, ever really get to that part.
Well, yeah, I mean, his last name is Sanders, so he thinks that, he grew up with his dad, who is, you said radical honesty.
Yeah, but Deion earns that, right?
Yeah. Well, he earns it, but like Shedeur has earned at least some of it. He was a great college player, and I just think that there's an authenticity to Deion that Shedeur can't help it. I think he's Deion's son, and earned or not, it's there. So I think it'd be too much to ask him not to do that, because that's part of who he is. It's kind of what makes him great as well, but it is also problematic. So yeah, you're right. Like this is definitely not ideal, but you kind of knew Shedeur is outspoken, and this to me, like, let me ask you this: like, we're talking about it now, but do you think after this press conference, where at least Shedeur made it ambivalent, like, is this really going to be a problem in the locker room? Dillon's going to be like, dude, I that wasn't about you. And he's like, well, I don't know. Like, Shedeur is definitely drumming that up, but I don't know why. It's not ideal. It's sort of his style, though. I mean, if he was trying to, it's like Jameis Winston you talked about earlier. He has this kind of funny style.
Yeah.
And you just have to take it as part of the package with Jameis Winston. And I think you have to take it as part of the package with Shedeur, that he's going to be your overly honest backup quarterback.
Well, then he's not going to have many suitors, probably.
Might be why he fell to the 5th round.
Well, I mean, is that why, right? Weren't we told it's the football?
Well, I said early in the draft process, him calling out his offensive line has to be a turnoff to NFL teams. Like, that is definitely, like, to me, if I'm a coach, that's like the one biggest red flag of the whole process. I think it really came down to Deion trying to manipulate the draft process. Also hurt really badly. Because 5th round was crazy. But, Shedeur's overly honest stuff has not worked well for him in the NFL draft process.
And this is where you wondered, like, after falling to the 5th round, was Shedeur going to kind of like get it? And I think overall, he has actually done very well in this training camp.
Yeah, except for the driving thing, which you talked a lot about. Like, he's really
the speeding tickets.
He's really done a great job in training camp of being a pro.
It seems like
for sure.
But then you get this, and I don't know if it was a test by the Browns. I'm not giving the Browns that much credit. I think they put him out there because they like this. Jimmy Haslam is like Jerry Jones in this way,
you're
and they're trying to squeeze every little part of Shedeur, the celebrity, while also, in my opinion, at times not giving him a true path to actually win the backup job. So it's like I think they want him for the clicks and for the attention, but they never had any intent of really trying to give him a meaningful shot at the backup job. You could say, well, maybe 5th round pick shouldn't get that. He's not your average 5th round pick. No. We saw that in the first preseason game with how good he looked. So this whole thing to me is just, can we just fast forward when Shedeur actually gets a real shot on another team? And I hope he does. Comments like what he said yesterday, where he gets a chance to just really take the layup.
You don't think that
take the layup and just say, yes, I believe Dillon Gabriel. This is not an issue anymore. We're all moved on, and letting the story die. Now here's the story again with another chapter to it that's going to just add to the circus atmosphere of the Browns.
Yeah, I disagree with one thing. Shedeur is definitely going to play this year. I don't think it's a traditional backup quarterback. I think it's a tryout year where they're going to start off slow because of the brutal schedule, unless Flacco is just a miracle worker like he was a couple years ago. And then they're going to try Gabriel, Pickett, and Shedeur. Don't you think that there's a chance if they have a losing record, they're just going to maybe you're painting a picture where they just don't even give Shedeur a shot, where they go with Pickett and Dillon, and then maybe in week 18 against third stringers he comes in. I think he's going to play meaningful minutes.
Well, meaningful. How meaningful are they if they have a losing record?
Well, like a week 11 or week 12 game. Meaningful, like where you could really see what you have in Shedeur Sanders.
Maybe because I think they're going to be using him to sell tickets at that point.
Well, I think that's a cynical view. I think they want to see what they have in him. Because they also have invested a lot of time and they're working really hard with him. I don't think that means nothing. I was actually thinking that if he was on the trade market and someone said, we'll give you a 6th rounder for Shedeur, the coaching staff's could be like, no way. We've been putting so much work into helping this guy become a pro. We're not doing that for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think by week 12, we'll see real minutes against a first-team defense. Listen, Cleveland, you're right. They might be doing this for publicity. Don't you think they're curious? Don't you think he's been in the building? He's obviously got talent. Don't you think they're curious to see what he's going to look like against? We all are. I mean, they're humans just like us. They want to see what they have in Shedeur.
I don't know. Maybe a little different when your job's on the line, potentially.
Maybe.
I don't know if you can play out the
are.
curiosity angle. So our very own Andrew Kaplan is Colorado alum.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's also monitors our chat. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. And Cap does a fantastic job. He's the true man behind the curtain. Said Shedeur's a stand-up guy, unlike Gabriel. Took a totally unnecessary shot at Shedeur. I think,
oh, my God.
I'm telling you, I don't think that Shedeur handled this well. At some point, let the sleeping dogs lie and just kind of move on. But there are a lot of people who believe how Kaplan's thinking here and, by extension, have turned Shedeur into this underdog story. It is crazy to me that anyone with the last name Sanders, a Dion any of his progeny could ever be underdogs, but here we are. And I think that there are most people, when they saw that yesterday, was like, good for Shedeur. He's sticking up for himself.
Can I just read Aditi's follow-up tweet?
She did the interview.
Yeah, she did the interview. Just to, because I think, there is this narrative that Shedeur was the victim here, but, she said, after the interview with Dillon Gabriel, she said, let's please, all caps please, not take this out of context. I was so impressed with how sagely and sincerely Dillon Gabriel talked to previously. She obviously had said this before. She made it very clear in the question about tuning out distractions. He told us there are entertainers, hot take artists, and there are competitors, he and his fellow quarterbacks, including Shedeur, and he doesn't even ever want to get those lines twisted. I therefore asked him to share his wise approach to keeping the external noise from, and he said, infiltrating with the people watching. This is as humble, respectful young man as there is. He was actually complimenting Shedeur in this quote, saying that Shedeur is a competitor. And then, listen, Stephen A. came out and ripped Dillon Gabriel to shreds because he called the media a bunch of hot take artists. That's where we are.
That's rich.
He's obviously going after the media, which, if you want to have an issue with that, fine. But anybody who thinks that Dillon Gabriel was going after Shedeur is creating something that is just not there. Okay. And I think that is, I know it gets clicks, but it is utterly ridiculous to do that to me.
No, that's fine. And you and Aditi putting out basically her own press conference or her own press release is not how this thing works.
But it should work that way because it's a fiction.
She knows the media better than anybody. She works in it just like we do, and she's good at it. But here's the thing. You're saying and she's saying this was all clear, that Dillon Gabriel was not talking about Shedeur. Obviously, it was not. It was not clear, Pearl, because you can say it was and read her follow-up tweet, but millions and millions of people heard her question and his answer and took it as a shot.
Well,
so it's not clear.
Okay.
It's not. I'm
not
toothpaste out of the tube. Now everyone's in damage control mode. And I'll agree with you, Shedeur didn't help it yesterday when he was asked straight up, do you believe Dillon Gabriel was not taking a shot at you? And he goes, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he's wrong. Because I'm sorry. I'm not going to relent on this. It's so obvious he's not taking a shot at Shedeur. If Shedeur wants to drum that up, good for Shedeur. But
it wasn't obvious in the moment, though. It may become more obvious after the fact.
Okay. I'm not going to relent on this one at all. There's Dillon Gabriel,
here,
this
man.
5'11" quarterback, is going to take an in-game shot at Shedeur Sanders. Okay,
that's another. I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because you were like, Dillon Gabriel, I think it was your quote. I'm not saying this about him. I think you said little Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dillon Gabriel, we don't know him to ever be taking public shots. It would seem a little out of character that all of a sudden in this random moment that he would start firing off at Shedeur Sanders. But now Shedeur came out and said, I don't know what he meant by it.
Okay.
Maybe he did take a shot at me. Is it possible, Pearl, that a guy could be different behind the scenes and maybe Gabriel is so competitive that Shedeur, who's sitting with him every day in a quarterback room, wasn't sure if he was taking a shot? It's possible that what we see from these guys is very different than how they present themselves behind the scenes. And I'm not saying Gabriel's a jerk or anything like that, but he's trying to win a spot on the roster, and he realizes the organization did him no favors by putting the most famous quarterback coming out of the draft right behind him. So can you at least admit that?
No, it's impossible. There's zero.
Then why did Shedeur say that yesterday? Why did he say, I'm not sure if I believe him?
Because Shedeur goes to the beat of his own drummer, and I don't know why Shedeur said that. It's kind of typical Shedeur. To me, there is no chance that Dillon Gabriel was sitting there after having a pretty good game and like, all right, I'm going to take a shot at Shedeur. Just no way.
Then why doesn't Shedeur believe him?
Shedeur. He loves creating these little dramas and being funny and interesting. Like, I don't know. I mean, why did Shedeur, after the Nebraska game, say, look at how clean Dylan Raiola was? Why would he do that?
Well, I think that was a moment of honesty where everyone saw that he was getting shellacked. And does one comment like that stay with you for your whole life? You can't ever come back from something like that?
Why did Shedeur reportedly go into interviews and blow off executives?
Well, who knows? He got horrible advice. That had to be horrible advice.
Well, okay, so why did Shedeur say this? I have no idea why Shedeur said that. I don't know why he would take a shot in advance against Dillon Gabriel. I don't know, but I just don't think.
You're not leaving the possibility open at all that maybe Gabriel is more of a competitive killer behind the scenes than he presents.
Oh, of course,
Dillon
Gabriel's a competitive killer. I'm giving 0.0 chance that he meant to take a shot at Shedeur Sanders in that interview. 0.0. I'm not even giving you 0.00001. I'm going 0.0.
What do you think? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Tension now in the Browns quarterback room, whether it was intended or not.
Well, I mean, listen, there's no real tension. This is a third string and a fourth string quarterback. If it was any other team and the third string and fourth string quarterback were sniping at each other in the media, one of them particularly, it wouldn't matter if it wasn't in Cleveland. Like, who's the fourth string quarterback in New Orleans? We don't even barely know who the first string quarterback is. So this is also a product of the Browns' hysteria.
The Browns did this to themselves. Like, so the fact that we're reacting off of it is not our fault. How's it
not you and me, but I mean, it's got a little bit like, if we get to there's a little hysteria around the Browns quarterback situation. Will you give me that? It's a little bit overhyped.
No, it's overhyped, but it's actually not. I think it's properly hyped because Shedeur falling in the draft was the biggest story of the draft, and that is a legit story. There were a lot of tentacles to that. I'm not going to apologize for that. It was the number one story. It deserved to be the number one story. No apologies to Cam Ward, who got overshadowed. None of that. This was the big story. And now, when Shedeur plays pretty well in that preseason game, the story gets amplified. And then when it looks like a quarterback takes a shot at him, and then when he goes back at the quarterback, I'm not apologizing for that to the media. We didn't make any of these guys say any of this. We didn't put the camera in front of Shedeur's face. The Browns put him up there in a press conference. The Browns made Dillon Gabriel available in an in-game interview. The media did none of that.
So you're saying but you were kind of saying this is on the Browns. Would you rather the Browns?
I think they play a role for sure.
But would you rather the Browns? Nobody taking Shedeur then? Because the Browns came in with a rescue line. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying. There's definitely validity to that. But, how do you blame the Browns? At least they took the guy. What was it? Shedeur just going to fall out of the draft and sign as a free agent with the Raiders or something? What else was going to happen at some point? But you're saying, since he's gotten there, they've played it up too much. But I don't know. I'm not sure that's totally true because they also have tried to make this somewhat normal to some extent. I mean, they've kept it kind of positive about all four guys. Said a lot of nice things.
Positive is fine, but is it normal for a four-string quarterback to do
it's a good question.
A press conference before the third preseason game? That's crazy. Okay, 888-710-4ISN. What do you think about Shedeur? Is it possible he could win the backup job? And who do you think will be the backup quarterback? All things Shedeur Sanders on the plate on this Friday, but he's not it. We've got tons to do today, including Perloff and I will give you our prediction for who will make the 12-team college football playoff and who will win the Natty. All of that and more. Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this NASCAR race preview is sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. They're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. Manny Tires, what's on tap this weekend?
Vroom, vroom, guys. We are headed down to Daytona Beach. It's the Coke Zero Sugar 400 from Daytona International Speedway. It is the final regular season race. That's right. The round of 16 starts next weekend. But before we get there, once again, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 from Daytona. William Byron, he is at the top of the drivers, the leaderboard. He's followed by Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney round out your top five. However, it's Brad Keselowski, the betting favorite, to win at plus 1,000. Action gets going on Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern from Daytona.
Wow, that's interesting. Manny, can you explain why Brad Keselowski is the favorite?
That's a good question. Brad Keselowski is well down here in the standings. So
Yeah,
you deliver it with such confidence. I need some facts to back it up, buddy.
Brad Keselowski drives in a car. Those are the facts.
I love it. Daytona bucket list item for me. Never been there. And I've been to NASCAR races, but never been to Daytona. So got to get there at some point. So Chris LoPresti is with us this morning doing updates. CeeLo, lots going on.
Yes, we do have a lot to get to. Progressive Commercial Insurance protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Let's begin with a busy day for Jerry Jones as he was on Fox News. He also joined Michael Irvin's YouTube show talking, you guessed it, Micah Parsons with no apparent progress on contract talks, and the clock now ticking towards the Cowboys season opener, just under 2 weeks away now.
Nobody appreciates Micah Parsons any more than the Cowboys or me. Nobody. Nobody has ever offered him more money than I have to play football. Right. Period.
And Jerry has chosen...
Well, that's kind of a technicality now, isn't it, Jerry? I mean,
Well,
he's at Penn State. He couldn't get paid like this. And
Right.
Well,
no one else can really offer him anything
Good
because
point.
he's under contract with you. So
right, and he was in the Big Ten, not the SEC. So if we were talking like Alabama, Georgia, maybe, but no.
Hey-oh.
All right, so Jerry has
do they
chosen
make bags
now
that
to,
big
Yeah,
to
right.
get all that cash in there?
Have we been doing NIL that long?
No, he was
No,
probably
right?
not NIL.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He was
NIL
he was near
summer
COVID.
2021. What year did he get in the pros?
I think after that. He might have been in the very first
But he
little
did-
first wave.
No.
Yeah.
Because didn't he take the COVID year off
He
and
did.
then come into the draft? So he must not have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, here's Jerry revealing that he and Parsons, we know they had that meeting back in March, and Jones is saying, hey, we hammered down the financial framework of an extension, and then...
When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
I wonder if he actually said it that way, maybe, but this was the explanation he got.
The agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark on several areas. And so the issue, very frankly, is we've had the negotiation in my mind. And the agent's trying to get his nose in it.
And basically saying, hey, contract offer stands that we talked about with Micah. If the agent wants to take care of all the paperwork, we can get this done and move on.
Because that's how it works, right, CeeLo? That you just talk to the player in the
Right.
hallway, and then if the agent try and gets involved, like, dude,
Yeah.
we already worked out a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Over a Heineken. I watched last night again. I've seen it twice, the entire Cowboys documentary.
Wait, you finished it and watched it again?
Yeah,
How do you have the same 24 hours as the rest of
What?
us?
I
Watch the entire thing twice?
No, I did a little. My Athlon Sports thing this week is 5 lies that Jerry told in the speech, so I had to pick him. I fast forwarded mostly to Jerry's scenes. He negotiates with Deion Sanders. This is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. He goes in, he goes, all right. He has Steven as his co-negotiator. He says, Steven, hold out of the room. I wanted to start out with just me and Deion, so see if we can get and just talk for 5 minutes. Then you'll come in and we'll talk details. Jerry comes out in 5 minutes and goes, Steven, the deal is done. I paid him this. Steven grabs him and throws him against the wall and basically says, you idiot, you overpaying him by 50%.
Oh, wow. So Deion got the better of Jerry?
Yeah, and Steven threw his dad against the wall.
I was going to say, yeah, geez.
Yeah, and Jerry's like, yeah, wasn't that funny? So, like, Jerry apparently thinks that he can go around the system. He's been doing it for decades.
Wait a minute. But if Jerry, so if all the players keep getting the best of Jerry,
Yeah.
right? If he's this terrible negotiator that just happened to literally strike oil and that's why he became a billionaire, then
that's a good
why is
point.
the agent saying anything? If the deal's so good of whatever Micah Parsons pulled one over on Jerry whenever they met, was at the combine? I don't even remember where this was. March. Okay, if the deal's so awesome and Jerry is the loser in the deal, like why not just sign it then?
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe Jerry in this one didn't have everything. Yeah, that's a good point. You think Micah could outsmart Jerry in this one?
Well,
Maybe he
Dak's
didn't,
outsmarted
and the
him.
agent's
CeeDee
like-
Lamb's outsmarted him.
Maybe
They
that's
all
why
have.
the agent got to look at it and was like, no, this is not good.
We
not
can do
good
better
enough.
this.
Oh,
So-
yeah. No, I'm sure he did. And, listen, you want to have your representation there, but
I mean, yeah, generally, as a rule, there's a reason NFL players have agents for exact situations like this.
But if Jerry's terrible at this, and if Deion Sanders got 50% more, and if all these people have been pulling the wool over his eyes, then maybe you just go with it.
Well, I don't know.
Clearly, that's not the case.
Wait, but he obviously, I don't think, did he negotiate a separate deal with Dak? Isn't Dak's agent Todd France or somebody? Like somebody very powerful,
No, but
manipulated Jerry in that way.
No, but Jerry's making it seem like he always does this with the principals, with the biggest players. He's like, I'm the one who comes in. You can do your, Ferguson deals over to the side. I don't care about that. But when it comes to the big boys, that's when I get involved.
Right, but that's just Jerry speak.
Was that one of the lies?
Yeah, I mean, do you really think that happened? That's the other thing, too. 90%, he admits it. Like, he's a total salesman. So.
Was that one of the lies you think happened, that Steven never threw him up against the wall? Or what was the lie?
No. Oh, it was more things that I have trouble buying. It wasn't outright lies. I just think, like, there was a lot. Jerry said a lot of things in the documentary that made Jerry look like an all-American hero. That just like, come on, dude. Like, really? Like, you're trying to tell. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. And, CeeLo, you can weigh in on this because Maggie and I have been arguing about it for about 3 years. This whole idea that he just wants to create a soap opera and it's drama for drama's sake is so obviously a rationalization for the fact that the dude can't win a Super Bowl anymore. Like, he's like, well, I can't win, but I'm creating this great soap opera. Like, he's doing it on purpose. Like, no way. He's just like, I can't win, so I'm going to pretend that this is cool. That's my theory on it. Because early on when he's winning Super Bowls, he's like, the only thing that has ever mattered to me or the Dallas Cowboys is winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then in 2024, he's like, you know what? We can't win anything, but man, are we interesting? Like, I'm like, wait.
So he's taking the consolation prize.
Good for
he's
the brand.
totally. He's creating this narrative that he invented. There's another thing, like, he has Rupert Murdoch coming in and he says, Jerry Jones is the man who made NFL popular in America. I'm like, Rupert, you might come from Australia, but that's just not how it went down. And Jerry's like, yeah. That was all me. He's just this incredible.
It's his documentary.
It's but it's just got this bravado and this talk that is just so over the top. And even this quote to Michael Irvin, the agent obviously didn't say that. That's Jerryism, right?
Just stick it up your.
He proverbially told him to stick it where the sun doesn't shine. I don't know if he actually said
Wouldn't
that.
that be great if he did?
Well, the agent's like probably said very professionally, no, we would like to negotiate this, the proper way.
They want to start over from the beginning, and Jerry already felt like they were at the 5-yard line.
I know. I mean, do we all side with I side with the agent on this one.
Yeah, I think Jerry was trying to get one over on Micah Parsons. I do believe that. But
That's why
I don't know
he's sticking to that March conversation.
I don't know how far down the road they got. Jerry's like, I already made all these concessions. Like, how long was this meeting?
I don't know, but he said they talked, salary, guarantee, structure, years, all that. Whether you believe that or not is an entirely different. But he covered all the aspects of it that he felt were agreed upon.
I feel like now I've listened to too many hours in my life have been Jerry Jones press conferences. I don't know what the hell he's saying half the time, and neither does anybody else. So we all kind of smile and laugh because it's kind of folksy. Who knows what you're agreeing to in that room? Like, he talks around and around.
Circles, right.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell if he's a mad genius or he's just mad. Early on, it was working like crazy in the documentary.
Michael Irvin talking together. I'm like, I have CTE. Oh, my God.
Perloff, you're enjoying this, though, right? I'm enjoying the negotiations between Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons as a Giants fan. I'm sure you're enjoying it, too, right? There's one thing that we can all agree on as NFC East rivals.
Well, I'm wondering, though, is this all just drama that is going to be similar to Dak and CD, a contract like 3 days before where it's crazy bad for the Cowboys? Is he going to get paid $45 million a year? Well, and we're going to be like, I'm worried that it's going to be, not worried. I think he's going to sign and it's going to be a bad deal in 2 years. We're going to be like, oh, man, the Cowboys did that the wrong way.
I don't know. Michael Parsons wiped off all Cowboy stuff from social media.
That's the first move of signing a contract.
Exactly.
Because every time you can actually chart, wiping off the team from your social media means you're signing a contract within 2 days.
So it works.
Wow, okay.
It always works.
All right, so Monday we're talking about this.
Yeah, I agree that that's generally everyone wants to react to that, and it usually goes down. I don't know about 2 days. They got time. It's a couple of weeks before the season opener.
A lot
of these things go down to the wire.
I want to hear what you think. Do you think he signs, or do you think that they're headed for like real deep trouble?
Well, yesterday, because I listened to way too much of this, yesterday was the first time Jerry basically laid it out and said, listen, he can complain all he wants. He's under contract, and then we've got 2 franchise tags if we want. That's the real thing.
3 more years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that to me, I'm like, they can make this as weird and as tense and as awful as they want to make it, or as circus-like. Whatever Jerry wants is using this for. He can drag this out for 3 more years if he wants to. I mean, you can really go maximum, headline attention grabbing stuff if you want to. You can keep the soap opera going for years.
Right, and he kept Dak. Dak played in a contract year.
Dak did the double franchise tags. They did that.
Did he? Wow, I forgot.
Bet on him. Remember, kind of bet on himself. So you're right. There is precedent where, That would be fun.
He finally, that was the one true thing I feel like he actually did say yesterday. Was like, look, we hold the cards.
That's an important, I kind of forgot about that. That's an important part. I didn't even think in my mind that Jerry could just say, let's play it out. Would Micah seems very volatile. I don't know how he would react to that.
But would he not show up? I mean, to be honest, like he has shown up all through training camp.
Yeah.
He's been holding in. He's been there. He's been going through the meetings and stuff. I don't know if he has. Micah has the stomach for some things. He likes the microphone as well, but I don't know if he has the stomach to lose game checks.
Yeah.
Especially that fully guaranteed fifth-year option if he shows up.
That's the president of Bleacher Report or whatever his position is.
Clearly, that position doesn't pay as much as we thought it did. I mean, these media jobs, man, everyone thinks we're really sitting pretty here. We're grinders.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least he'll have something to do. If he does hold out, he'll run the BR Gridiron Instagram feed.
Get the Zoom up.
He is very good at that, by the way. He's made some great editorial choices.
Revamp the whole website.
Let me give you one more before we run out of time. You guys did Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in the open. Sticking with Shedeur, and take this for what it's worth. It's one man citing a source that he spoke with. But Eric Dickerson goes on the Dan Patrick Show and offered this about Shedeur falling to round 5 of this year's draft.
What I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him.
So
someone called the Browns and said, do not draft him, and they did it anyway?
No, he's saying initially the league, he's alleging that this source said the league told teams, don't draft him.
Send a message.
And then somebody called the Browns, was like, don't follow that edict, draft him. Which is why
can the Browns make their own decisions?
Yeah.
Or what?
So again, according to what he's saying, and the source he spoke to, that the Browns weren't going to. They were basically following the protocol or whatever the NFL allegedly told teams to do.
Yeah, some kind of collusion, blackball situation.
And then whoever it is that called them was like, don't follow that. And then they ended up drafting him in round 5.
Interesting. We have to take a quick break, but I have some thoughts on that. I had not heard that yet, and it made me think of one very important detail that is very unique to the Browns and why I think this could possibly be true. Okay, let's do that. CeeLo, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Got a lot more to do.
That's why your name's on the show.
No, not my first rodeo or Jerry's. Well, we have a lot to do. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476 if you want to weigh in on Jerry. Do you think the agent told him to stick the contract where the sun don't shine? And more next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. All right, we're talking about a situation that came up yesterday on Perloff's former show, Dan Patrick's show, where Eric Dickerson called into the Dan Patrick show with a theory that he had heard about Shedeur Sanders and what actually happened when he fell to the 5th round in the draft. Here is the Hall of Famer.
As much here what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him, do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him.
Okay, so that was Eric Dickerson. You hear Dan Patrick responding there, Pearl. These are two things that makes me think. One, I don't know if I can buy that somehow there was a conspiracy going on in the NFL that everyone colluded not to draft Shedeur. It would take a lot of people in a smoky room to pull that kind of thing off, although we know that the NFL owners have gotten together when what happened? Deshaun Watson's salary became fully guaranteed $230 million, and we know because of all the stuff that was going on in the NFLPA that came out after that owners were not happy about it and made that known amongst the inner circle. They were mad at Jimmy Haslam because he's the one who gave Deshaun Watson a $230 million contract. So could I see Roger Goodell, as Shedeur is sliding, saying, you know what, Jimmy, you owe us all a favor here. You owe us one. Draft him here so that the NFL will not be accused of colluding and keeping Shedeur out. Because you just said it last segment. Were they just going to, was he just not going to get drafted? Was he just going to be an undrafted free agent? That would be very fishy.
So wait, I'm a little confused here. Okay. So Roger Goodell is the one who got Shedeur drafted, or he's the one who told everyone not to draft Shedeur?
I think he's the one who got Shedeur drafted. The owners themselves could meet in a back room and they could say, listen, we're going to send a message. I don't know why they do this, but I guess in theory they could because they've done it before. And Roger Goodell, who has stepped in different times in the past to ask teams to draft people.
Like Michael Sam, yeah.
Famously happened with Michael Sam. He went to the Rams and said, as the draft is going on, Michael Sam, first openly gay player who was going to be drafted. And we know later Goodell went to the Rams and said, do me a solid. And they did it.
But okay, there's a lot going on here. So you're saying that how would Goodell know that there was a conspiracy out there not to draft Shedeur, and why would there be a conspiracy not to draft Shedeur?
That's what I can't understand. Why would the owners care about sending a message to who? Dion? Like, I don't get.
For trying to manipulate the draft system?
Listen, I get why the owners didn't want Deshaun Watson's contract fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
That I understand, because that's about money, and the NFL owners are always about money, money, money. What I don't understand is why they would care about Shedeur Sanders. To what? Send a message to Dion? Who cares at this point? Dion's been out of the league forever.
Yeah, I have. That's the mystery part. I don't think Dickerson really has necessarily that information, like what's behind this conspiracy. I mean, obviously, the most famous one is Colin Kaepernick.
Yep. And Goodell came out and said that was real, too. He was blackballed.
Well, right, but a blackballing doesn't have to be guys sitting around a smoky room and saying, don't do this. It can be more of a sort of group think, too. I think there's a lot of gray areas. Is it possible? I don't think it was somebody with the NFL office. If this happened, I think it might have been somebody with an ownership group who was calling around saying Shedeur was a real jerk in these interviews. You should not take this guy.
Sort of bad-mouthing him.
That could become to Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson could hear from a good source the NFL is blackballing him. Like it doesn't. That Roger Goodell made a call to blackball him doesn't make any sense.
No.
And that Roger Goodell, that's a good theory that Cleveland owed them one. But I feel like Roger Goodell called Jimmy Haslam and said, you have to take Shedeur Sanders, even though you already took Dillon Gabriel. That feels like a lot to put on Roger Goodell's plate.
Maybe it's not Goodell. Maybe it's someone else of influence saying, hey, this looks really bad. It looks like we're colluding against this guy, and that would not be good for us. It looks like we all kind of got together and everyone said, don't draft Shedeur Sanders. And you're right. This thing that just happened with Kaepernick. They had to settle with him. We still don't know how much he got. You don't want the smoke, if you will. So maybe they went to the Browns and said, listen, draft him.
Well, I don't believe this happened.
You don't believe any of it?
No.
You think Eric Dickerson was lied to by his source?
I don't think lied to. I think there was a narrative out there amongst NFL teams that Shedeur has the wrong attitude, and I think they were spreading information based on the draft interviews, and that became a narrative that got to Eric Dickerson that the NFL was saying, don't draft this guy. I think there was I think they were all talking and saying, like, he was, whatever teams that Shedeur reportedly was not nice to in the interviews, I'm sure those guys all talked to the other owners, be like, did you hear what happened with Shedeur? He came in and said he's too good to even like learn our plays. I'm sure they all talked, and I'll bet you that all became like the NFL is down. I think the NFL was used in a much vaguer term. So no, I don't think that there was any like actual conspiracy. I do think word got out that Shedeur has a bad attitude. I definitely think that happened.
Yeah.
But so I'll go that far, but a real conspiracy, no. Do you buy it?
I don't. What do I buy here? I do buy that somebody made a call and said, stop this. Like, this has got to stop. He has to stop sliding. Now, the Browns ended up trading up, to get him. Because I think that the NFL is worried about getting sued, potentially, maybe by the union, or at least filed a grievance on Shedeur's behalf that they were all conspiring to keep him, that something happened to keep him out, because it would have been very fishy if he never got drafted. Nobody batted an eyelash when Shiloh didn't get drafted. Like, guys fall out of the draft. But it would have been very odd if he's winning these postseason awards. He won the Golden Arm Award in college, all these things, and he doesn't get drafted at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be weird.
No, let's not forget Shadow. Would have been odd. So do I think someone made a call and said, put an end to this? Yes, I do. Was it Goodell? I have no idea. That part of it, I believe.
Yeah. That's still a lot to take in.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Week 0 college football is here, everybody. Actually, just saw someone in our chat. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Someone in our chat, I don't know if this is true, said they are going to the game in Dublin, Pearl.
Oh, that's so fun.
I know.
I'm so jealous.
Kansas State, Iowa State. You've always said that you wanted to go to one of those games.
Do you remember when DP Show went to Dublin after I left? That was the only time that I was really jealous. And you know what happened, right? Do you remember what happened when they went to Dublin for a Notre Dame game?
I think Will Ferrell took your spot.
Yes. Will Ferrell hung out with him for 3 days in Dublin.
He took the McLovin spot.
So, Maggie, how are we going to get to Dublin for? I mean, it's too late for Kansas State, Iowa State, but I think we have to put this on the show bucket list.
Listen,
And
you get
we
to
need a
hang out with me, Manny, Nico, Chris LoPresti. What does Will Ferrell have on any of us?
I feel like we'll get to Dublin, and it's probably going to be like a Jim Brewer type. Not a. I don't. I mean, like we'll get someone really funny. I just don't think we're going to get a Will Ferrell. Like, if you had to take a second level SNL person to Dublin with you to watch Kansas State, Iowa State?
Oh, that's a great question.
We can't get Will Ferrell or Kristen Wiig.
We can't get an
DP
A-lister?
definitely could. DP obviously could.
Is Horatio Sands available?
Horatio Sands is actually a dear friend of the Dan Patrick Show. I've hung out with him many times. Not many times, but he is the coolest. Bobby Moynihan. That's who we get. Did you ever
Drunk
interview?
uncle.
Local guy.
Yeah. He's great. I feel like he's a big Yankee fan. Did you ever interview him? No.
No, never did. But Jim, I co-hosted shows with Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer, hysterical.
So funny, big Mets fan, and was hilarious. And I don't think he's a second tier SNL guy. I think that he left SNL on his own accord. But Joe Pesci show, Goat Boy, he was opening shows.
Well, second tier, I mean, like not Mount Rushmore, like Will Ferrell. You know who's over there in England filming the show on Apple TV?
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis.
Uh-huh.
I would hang with Jason.
Are we not good enough for you?
I mean, I know he's no. I'm telling you, the whole show goes.
Right. We all go. Okay.
Yeah. And basically, we get, Manny, sorry, you're not making it. You're going to have Jason Sudeikis sitting in your chair. Nico, you're out.
I have the mustache just like Ted Lasso, so.
What's that?
I have the mustache just like Ted Lasso.
True.
You do look the most like him.
And Danny Rojas. Football is life.
I did see, by the way, so they're in Dublin, right? Mm-hmm. For some reason, a lot of Dublin bars ordered a Kansas flag.
I was just telling Nico about this.
Yeah, and it's the Kansas state flag, like the state of Kansas's official flag, and not a Kansas State football flag. Is that right?
Yeah, they bought the flag. You can tell that a bunch of people in Ireland bought a bunch of flags. They Googled Kansas State flag, but they had bought and have put up the flag of the actual state, not Kansas State's flag.
No,
the state of Kansas flag.
Yeah, right. They ordered the state of Kansas flag when they needed a Kansas State. We need the purple.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, it flies at the Capitol, and so this random flag is all over Dublin right now. Instead of that, the iconic
the
Wildcat
or
thing.
the Iowa State flag. No, you have the state of Kansas and the state of Iowa. Their flags.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this state flag though is kind of awesome. It's got a big sunflower on the top.
I know, it's totally cool. It is funny to.
It's nothing like Kansas State, but what a fun mix-up.
I know that they're bringing Farmageddon to Dublin. Is like, this is a great matchup. It is so funny that these two teams who are nowhere near Dublin, it's going to be Notre Dame makes sense, right? Like Notre Dame, of course, they play in Dublin, Fighting Irish. But yeah,
Kansas, the state flag of Kansas literally has purple mountains on it, like Purple Mountains Majesty.
Are there
literally purple mountains, as a
Nothing quite like sending Farmageddon over to a land where they had a famine.
That's a long time ago.
That's
ancient history, man.
Manny, what are you bringing us down for? It's a Friday. Bringing up the potato famine?
It also happened like 4,000 years ago. I think they're all right.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine. That's
4,000 years ago?
The people
Probably.
who make the state flag of Kansas must be like pulling their hair out, like they're inundated with all these big orders.
4,000 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It's year 2025. That would be 2000
That's
BC.
Old Testament.
Like half of the people know's family moved here because of the potato famine. It wasn't Mesopotamia, dude.
Not my people.
Fair.
Your lack of historical knowledge is so complete that it doesn't even bother me anymore.
Well, how about this?
I know what happened in 1963. Ask me about 1963.
Another upper.
You're right.
You're referring to JFK's assassination?
Perhaps, yes.
Wow, Manny. All the hits
I'm
today.
great on American history.
Although Manny is perfect, his
That's
historical knowledge of one particular day of the year is something that all of us could use.
Oh, the Cinco de Mayo?
When people think that Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day, and Manny's here to set us all straight.
Nope, September 16th, you morons.
So then what is Cinco de Mayo?
Okay, he knows
Battle
that.
of Puebla.
But he is someone on air who said anything. I don't know anything before 2018.
That's not true. 2000.
2000? Oh, yeah. But I don't like when people.
But we're challenging that.
Yeah. Use that as a point of pride. Like, bro, sorry. If it happened before 2007, then I don't know
count,
about that.
bro. Doesn't count, bro.
Like, I'm looking at your generation, Manny.
It's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but
What
for
happens
an
in
entire
2000?
time period.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You guys
like,
get it.
yeah, exactly. World War II, not my problem. Or like, that's ridiculous.
Well, Pearl, we talked yesterday about how your daughter, who's 13, right? Emma's
Yeah.
13. She came up to you. Yes, well, you guys have been hanging out a lot together, which is great. And I know you love that every second you're soaking up.
Oh, don't roll your eyes like that.
But she said, Dad, what does it all mean? We
Yeah.
talked about this yesterday. What do you say when your 13-year-old asks you, what's the meaning of life? Are you making sure your two daughters understand world history and all of that?
Oh, well, your son is younger, right?
He's 6.
So he hasn't been part of. Now, history is taught through TikTok, and it's taught mainly through people on the left or the right arguing with large groups of people who come up in the cycle and argument. So all she knows, her view of politics is one supposed expert arguing with people on the other side on the left or the right.
So it's all politicized. Like, you can't just learn historical facts. Like
no.
Gettysburg Address.
Don't point at me because I learned through textbooks, man. I didn't learn through TikTok and Instagram. I learned through textbooks.
No. But you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, it's like I know Charlie Kirk is one of the people, but there's also many versions of that. Like Lucy, my 14-year-old, lives to debate politics and uses facts off social media.
Okay.
Because she hasn't gotten to a lot of it in school yet.
Okay.
And and she's like hungry for knowledge. So no, there's definitely like things are very political right now, much more so than say 30 years ago.
Right, because we can't agree on what a fact is. That's part of it.
Exactly. History has been politicized. I feel like we had the same kind of lame textbooks that taught the same stuff that probably was inadequate in many ways.
I was going to say, you could say those were politicized, but in a different kind of way because it kind of yada-yada'd over a lot of minorities' history and stuff like that.
I'll tell you one thing about
Told
history.
through the eyes of a white man, yeah.
Yeah, but history too. The other thing was that back in the day, they'd spend all the time on like the Civil War in the 1800s. Then they'd be like, "All right, we have 8 days left to do 65 years of 20th century." They're like, "Yeah, the
always happened." I know more about Native Americans than anything, but I know nothing about the Vietnam War because we always ran out of time.
Yeah. No. The joke is in Simpsons, there's like 8 minutes left on the last day of school. All right, World War II, we won, and everyone runs out and screams, "Yeah, USA!" Because you had no time. Anyway,
you have to show her the history of the play of safeties over the course of NFL history. I think that's the things that you guys should be talking about.
Well, it used to be, just lead with your helmet.
Nothing tells the history of this country better than just the history of baseball. You could say that, you get a lot of stuff there. So there's a lot of different lenses.
Gigantic nerd, you could say that.
Or you listen to shows like this.
Ken Burns. I mean, come on. No, it's the history of football is how America is told. I don't need your lame baseball. Anyway.
Pivot point in football. Speaking of, because now we're going to get new history transition, and that is because the SEC has, I guess, relented. The SEC has agreed yesterday that they will play a 9-game conference schedule. Now, not only are they going to play 9 games amongst themselves, which is up from 8, they also have to play 1 Power 4 non-conference game. So you're going to have 10 games for the SEC on every schedule every year that's against a Power 4. I think this is a couple things at play here. One, I'm a little surprised the SEC did this without trying to get more money from the networks. 2, I think that the SEC and the Big Ten are clearly kind of fighting over who's going to have more say over how the college football playoff format is, thought of in the future. How many teams we get in 16, 24, 28, da-da-da. Maybe the SEC relents on this one aspect and says, all right, we'll play 9 conference games, but we don't want to go to 24, 28 games for the college football playoff like the Big Ten had suggested. Is it possible this is a compromise with the Big Ten?
Yeah. Well, yes, but also, too, there was another headline that the College Football Playoff Committee said we are going to weight strength of schedule stronger. They have a new metric called that came out on Wednesday, and then so the SEC, I think, pushed them to do that. So the SEC, I think this is about getting more playoff spots. They were worried about going to a 9-game would add a loss, and they'd lose they'd lose a playoff spot just by math. You know, the more conference games, the more teams you're going to have with losses. So I think that they said, we will do this. And because a lot of people have been pressuring them to do this, we will do this only if you guarantee that strength of schedule is going to be a bigger factor.
And we know strength of schedule is going to be a much bigger factor this year. That's what they're saying. You're not buying it.
I'm not buying it because at the end of the day, we're going to pick our final college football playoff bracket later in the show. You're telling me if Illinois has one loss, even though they played nobody, they're going to put in a 3-loss Texas A&M team over them? No, they're going to go with the 1-loss team. I do not believe the committee can help themselves on weak strength of schedule. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a 1-loss Illinois sitting there and they played absolutely nobody, they have one good game.
Yeah.
You really think the committee is smart enough to take that in? I don't.
Well, it's going to have to happen all season long because this is now the 12 teams are based off the ranking. Right? The top 5 conference champions, but it's going by just a straight ranking.
Which, and if you do it all season, then a week-to-week ranking causes all sorts of problems, too. Because then, you know, when the final ranking comes out, you're like, what happened to the week-to-week rankings? This is totally different.
Yeah, that's true.
I just think it's really imbalanced scheduling is a massive problem. I don't think they've figured it out. Do you?
So I actually believe them. I think that they are going to weight strength of schedule a lot more this year, and I think that's why you're going to see a lot of SEC and Big Ten teams. And that's why, just spoiler alert, I won't tell you who I have, but I have one ACC team making it in the college football playoff this year, and I have one Big 12 team making it. And I'm not proud of that, by the way. Like, I just think that if you are going to go with strength of schedule, I think that the SEC, whether you want to call it propaganda or whether you think it's actually true, whatever it is, they get the benefit of the doubt whenever it is strength of schedule. So I have tons and tons and tons of SEC teams in my college football playoff.
Well, I mean, you say benefit of the doubt. I mean, last year was one Big 12 team and 2 ACC teams. I mean, there's even before they were taking strength of schedule, these conferences were not putting a lot of teams out there. But you know, to me, the team that is the litmus test is Indiana last year in the Big Ten. Like Indiana really, for whatever reason, did not play anybody.
Yep.
And they got in. So
well, they did play Ohio State, but they lost.
Yeah. Well, they didn't beat anybody, right? So honestly, I think the interesting thing to me is like the bottom of the Big Ten is so weak that it got some teams in last year. And I think the same exact thing is happening. I don't care about the ACC and the Big 12 in this case. I feel like the SEC still gets screwed with their schedule. And I think it's going to be even worse now that they're going to 9 games.
Yeah, so that was the news. The SEC is going to play a 9-game conference schedule, and they also have to play one other Power 4 non-conference game. So it's going to be tough schedules, but this is what we want. Like if this is if this is a byproduct, then I'm all for it.
Oh, I love it because September 18th or whatever, there's always like the third week of college football where there's no ranked teams playing each other, and it's disappointing. Do you have a problem with them getting to be more professional, like more NFL? Like, honestly, I see that a lot. Like, if they ever went to a real rotating strength of schedule where they had a system in place to make sure everybody plays everybody, I think it would be good for the sport, but people would be like, well, we're just like the NFL then.
Yeah, but even in the NFL, like, we acknowledge that some schedules are better than others. Like,
but it's so much more radical in college. The strength of schedule is so much different.
Yeah, because there's 136 college football teams. So there's a lot of room, for scheduling different types of stuff. I want college to remain different than the NFL. Yeah. But it almost feels like the train's out of the station here with a lot of it. I don't know if you're like, shaking your fist at the clouds. But once they started getting rid of traditional rivals and once they started carving up, once Stanford went to the ACC and Cal went to the ACC, I think the jig was up.
Yeah, I mean, they could, if they wanted to, pull out the big conferences, say we're going to mix and match all these schedules like they do the NFL to make sure that there's no Indianas. I mean, they'll always give Notre Dame the pass for whatever reason. That's the other team, too, by the way. Look at Notre Dame's strength of schedule. You're telling me they're going to keep Notre Dame out of the Final 12 because they have nobody on their schedule? They're not even going to follow their own rule.
No, Notre Dame has been the biggest beneficiary of the move to 12 teams. And subsequently, whatever gets added, 16, 24, 28, whatever it ends up being, because there's always going to be enough at-large bids, and there's always going to be enough of a bit of a carve-out to make sure Notre Dame gets
Well, they made a brilliant move. We're going to play the ACC, who the bottom of the ACC is struggling right now. So they're always going to get some easy games there. They have Army and Navy always on there. I mean, they should beat Army and Navy. Seems like they get a lot of Purdue. I mean, there's no you said it like 2 years ago. Notre Dame's going to be in here every year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like that. Whether you love them, love to hate them, is like an appeal to Notre Dame. They bring a lot of eyeballs. I'm not saying they should automatically get a pass, but if you win enough games, which they will every year, I think people like seeing them. So
I will be frustrated. Say Notre Dame doesn't run the table and they have, they don't have a lot of impressive wins, but they're not
going to run the table.
Right. They have, after Miami and Texas A&M, they play nobody.
They lost to Northern Illinois last year.
They don't have that. If they
lost to Marshall the year before.
The first 2 weeks are at Miami, then they host Texas A&M. If they split that, you might as well start making plans for the playoff because they're 100% going to be in. They play Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, but it's in Notre Dame, NC State, USC. Anyway, go down the list. Like they don't face another ranked team, so it's going to be kind of easy for them to get in.
Yeah, just the one thing with Notre Dame, you got to avoid the slip up. The one that no one's talking about, the one that is coming out of nowhere, which we wouldn't even know what that is because no one thought they were going to lose to Marshall. Nobody thought they were going to lose to Northern Illinois.
But even if they did lose to Northern Illinois and still got in.
Right, because they didn't lose another game beyond that.
Yeah, I think this strength of schedule, like they say they have it solved. I don't know. I kind of actually, we argue about this a lot. I feel a little bad for SEC. Like I do think.
You feel bad for the SEC?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're going to go to 9 teams. Like last year, if Alabama, who got left out? Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. Like I think all three of those teams would have had a good chance to make the playoff based on the quality of their team if they were in another conference. So I feel like the SEC cannibalizes itself. And going to 9 games, it's going to make it even worse, right? I mean, just by definition.
So why do you think they did it?
Money. I don't know. I think there was pressure on them because, you're right. They didn't ask for more money, but I do feel like everybody's been asking them to go 9 games.
The Big Ten, because they play 9 conference games.
Yeah.
They want to even.
Yeah, and I think that there was remember when the Indiana coach came out this offseason and said, I'm doing an SEC schedule where I play less conference games and a bunch of Sisters of the Poor. I'm not actually sure. You brought up a good point. I don't know why they didn't make more money off of this, but maybe they secretly did somehow or going to.
Somehow. Maybe. 888-710-4ISN. They're not idiots. 888-710-4476. Okay, Perloff and I will reveal our 12-team college football playoff bracket. Calling our shot. And we've got a lot more to do, including back to the NFL and a little NFL and college together. Bill Belichick. Just unloading.
Oh, what about me, Maggie?
Taking shots. And lots to do. I also have a question for the group about a controversy that has been stirred up. This is not Shedeur Sanders, although we could talk about that. A controversy that's been stirred up, and I have no idea why. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. You know what that music means. Cowboy Quickie. Man, you know, for a team that everyone thinks is going to go 8-9, they are sure getting a lot of attention. And you know why? Jerry.
Well, an 8-part documentary series will do that, kind of drumming up the glory days of the Cowboys. But here's the latest with Jerry Jones talking to Michael Irvin. I'll hear cut 6, please, Nico, about Jerry when they went to Micah Parsons' agent to say, hey, we've been negotiating here, me and Micah, and we're ready Michael, yeah. We're here to cross the T's and dot the I's. And according to Jerry Jones, the agent said, not so fast.
When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
Wait, now, see, I was
Just so you're clear.
Wait. What do you mean?
Now, did he actually say that? Was it a proverbial stick it where the sun don't shine? I would think so, Pearl.
Yeah.
Is that one of the most satisfying things you can say to somebody? Hey, why don't you stick it up here?
Well, it's funny, too. This was clearly David Mulugeta, Micah Parsons' agent, maybe had some feelings over Jerry pretending he didn't know his name. Pretending. Maybe this is a little get back at you. It got personal with the agent and the owner. Do you think so?
I think it's been very personal. I think it's been unnecessarily personal. And Jerry's made it that way.
If I had to guess, there's one pro in this situation. David Mulugeta.
Probably. I mean, he's trying to do right by his client, but you just mentioned maybe he's in his feelings about Jerry kind of openly being negative about him.
Maybe he's in his feelings about the owner trying to go around the agent and negotiate directly with the player. That is not cool.
Well, if Jerry's so known for this, right, which he admits, I'm known for this. When we're doing the big contracts, I like to hammer out me and the player, right? We sit down, we look each other in the eye, blah, blah, blah. Then should David Mulugeta understand this is Jerry's thing? This is the trick he tries to pull on people? Like, Jerry and David Mulugeta have been around for a long time.
No, the agent should absolutely not accept that.
No, not accept, but he would understand this is what Jerry tries to do. He can't be shocked if this is Jerry's, the card he constantly plays.
Well, I don't know that he's shocked, but he definitely was like, don't even try it with Micah Parsons. And that's what he's saying. If that story is true, which I think it is, David Mulugeta is like, I don't care what you said in a room alone with Micah Parsons. It's totally irrelevant to this conversation. We're going to start right now. What's your offer? And here's what we want.
That's your Cowboy Quickie.
I have a question for you. Is this like a bigger distraction than Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb? Because it feels like it's starting to get a little bigger to me. There was that Adam Schefter report that clearly came from the agent that this is going to be a long-term divorce. We never heard that about Lamb. We never heard that about Prescott. I almost feel like maybe I dare to hope that someday Micah Parsons gets to free agency and goes with my Philadelphia Eagles, his favorite team growing up.
Oh, my God.
You're going to have to wait for a while because they've got this year's contract.
Yeah.
They got a franchise tag next year, the franchise tag the year after that.
Well,
so you're going to be getting a little older, Michael Parsons.
Still what, 27, 28? That's fine. I'll take a 28-year-old Micah Parsons. Maybe they don't do that second franchise tag, which will be ridiculously expensive. But the funny thing is then Micah Parsons came out and said the teams he wanted to go to, and one of them was your Buffalo Bills. So, like, you should be angling for this guy, too.
Come on over.
I mean, they could use in his prime Micah Parsons. Every team would want that guy. Here's the question, too. It does feel like he's injury-prone, like, wouldn't this be a flat ending to this whole story if he went out there against his will in a week 4, twisted his ankle, and sat for 4 games?
That's the NFL, though. I mean, can't predict that kind of stuff. But
well, you can if the guy doesn't go to camp.
Well, yeah. I mean, whose fault is this? Like, it takes 2 to tango here, or 2 to ignore each other, or whatever the hell's going on. If you could have the one get back, we always talk about Aaron Rodgers, where he has this famous retelling now of what he said to Aaron Glenn. He's like, and I said, you don't know me.
Yeah.
He said,
yeah, I love that line.
Exactly. And like Rodgers retells this as he just has this perfect mic drop moment of saying the perfect thing exactly when he needed to. Is like, and they told me to stick it up my hoo-ha.
I said, you don't know me. And he said, you don't know
comeback.
me. And then I said, exactly.
Exactly. Like, is stick it where the sun don't shine the perfect comeback?
Yeah.
I don't even think they actually said this.
1989, maybe. I don't know. Is there something a little more updated?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Current
definitely.
slang.
What's the current slang of stick it where the sun don't shine?
I feel like that is like, that's
stands the test of time.
Kind of standard. It's not that great. You think that's like an all-time comeback?
I don't think I'd have the cojones to say it, but it'd probably feel good saying that to Jerry Jones if you felt like you had reason to.
People are much more vulgar now. I don't know.
That feels like something that feels a little
it's
like
PG.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, feels a little dated. That term.
Yeah, no, we do R-rated comebacks now.
It's bad. I got 9-year-olds on the football field dropping F-bombs. I'm like, guys, clean it up here. You're 9. You shouldn't be talking that way. Now, it's
At
not their
each
fault.
other,
It comes
or-
from the yeah.
Where's it come
They
from?
have to get from their parents. I
Yeah.
witness it all the time, and it's not me up on my high horse. I've talked about this recently locally here in New York.
Get on your high horse. Get on your
I just
soapbox.
don't, like, you got to have some sort of filter. Like, I'll be there and having a conversation with an adult, and their kids are standing right there, and F this, F that. And I'm like, come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, I would love to say I've never cursed in front of my kid. That's probably not true. But as they get older, you got to be a lot more careful.
I get it happens here, there, something slips, but this isn't like, in a moment of like anger or emotion. They're just having a standard conversation.
And it's Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Also, the F board. Sorry.
growing up on a basketball court, though, like that's part of like you trash talk and you say
Sure.
things about each other's mothers.
But with
and
8
like
and
all that fun
9-year-olds,
stuff.
that's not a good look.
8 and 9, that does seem a little young.
That's not a good look. Some of the
That's
stuff
not
these
your
kids say.
mama's so fat when she sits
Right.
around the house. She
Yeah.
sits around the house.
They're into they're into the mom jokes. That's fine. I get that. But and it's not just that. It's not just the F bomb. It's a lot of A lot of bad language.
Really? Mature, for mature audiences.
Yes.
The future of America is in great hands.
Yeah, that's what's eye-opening.
I just picture
to me.
you
It's
blushing
like,
at some of these.
No, I don't get. It's not that. Like I'm around here. I'm out in the newsroom. Don't exactly have the cleanest mouth, but like if I'm in the presence of young kids,
a curse has never been said out in the bullpen.
Yeah, right.
Stop
Yeah.
spreading
this
misinformation.
place? No,
we read the Bible out there.
Yeah, it's Disney radio out there.
CeeLo, if somebody said, stick it up your bleep, would you be like, wow, is there a middle-aged man? Yeah, like that sounds like old school, right?
I got no problem someone coming after me with foul language. I just like.
No, but that's an expression you probably would not hear.
I don't know. I feel like you hear it. We've got a great drop of Brandon Tierney, who used to be on the network, saying it over talking about the Jets. And they played all the time on the local morning show on WFAN here in New York.
Maybe the
stick it up
updated.
here. He's like screaming, "Stick it up here!" Yeah.
Maybe the updated is. I think maybe we've raised the stakes here. I don't know if we're sticking it up. I think we're jamming it.
Or blow it out.
Blow it out.
Jam it. That's another BT. Jam it up the A gap.
Oh,
they love to play that one.
The A gap.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on in the world?
All right. Let me first say, last hour I played the Eric Dickerson clip for you, talking Shedeur Sanders. So that was, for whatever reason, in our system and some other places attributed to the Dan Patrick Show, but it looks like it actually came from, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing this wrong, the Rogan and Rodney Show, or Rogan and Rodney Show. AM 570 LA Sports this week. So I just wanted to clarify that and give the proper credit.
That makes a little sense because we were looking on the DP show feed and they had not put it out.
I don't know why that ended up.
Dan and Albert Breer are sitting there. I'll call the Dan.
Maybe they were reacting to the clip.
They played the clip.
Kind of like
Breer.
we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was very confused by that as well. Okay.
So it came from a local show out in LA, just to clear that up.
Right,
a little bit more from Jerry Jones.
That is Dan's station, so maybe Dan was involved in it.
Okay.
AM 570 is like DP Show's flagship station.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'll double check with the guys.
You would know better than anyone, obviously. All right. A little bit more from Jerry Jones. I know you just played one of the clips, but this is talking about the whole Micah situation and the agent getting involved. I've heard him in the last couple of months make this analogy before, but he pulled it out again yesterday.
It's the mama-daddy deal. You go into mama, and she won't do it. And she's the boss. She won't do it. So you run into daddy. Daddy says do it. And then you go back in and say, Mama, Daddy said it was all right. It's the old Mama, Daddy deal. We've all been there and done that.
So basically, he's like, hey, we're ready to honor the deal that I negotiated with Micah back in March. Now it's up to the agent to, as Maggie said a few minutes ago, cross the T's and dot the I's.
Well, we've got this deal resolved in my mind for the Dallas Cowboys. And we've got it done. And if the agent wants to finish up the detail, which is should, and do all the paperwork, and he can do that. And we're ready to go. But as far as the amount of money, the years, the guarantees, all of that, we negotiate that.
He is really at times talking down to the agent.
Yeah,
you come in and, the
take
paper,
notes.
a couple signatures
Yeah.
here. Like,
You fax this in.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This is so funny.
It is. I don't get the mommy daddy analogy.
Daddy.
It doesn't it doesn't fit to me, this particular situation, but I know he has said it many times.
Yeah, I think just the player talking to the player and then the agent and them kind of doing it differently.
So who's the mama, who's the daddy, and who's the kid in this
that's
situation?
why it doesn't really work. Like I get what he's going for, but it doesn't truly
No, the mama daddy thing is
connect
when you
the
play
right way.
two teams off of each other.
Yeah.
If he was going to the Cowboys and asking for one thing and then going to the Eagles and asking for another, that's playing mom off of dad in my mind. This does not apply. But again, Jerry makes no sense.
Right.
So who knows what Michael Parsons agreed to in that meeting?
I think he just likes to say mama and daddy.
I think the mom and daddy thing is
I think so too.
I think you go around till you find somebody who gives you the answer you want. Like that's what.
Or maybe that's it.
But it would be more like if Jerry was playing Micah against his agent. Like, he didn't get what he wanted from Micah, so he goes to the agent, or vice versa, and then he's going back and forth. So I guess he's the kid, and Mike would be the mom or the daddy, or the agent would be the mom or the daddy.
This guy takes up way too much space in our
Yeah, he
lives.
does. He really does.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go to Baltimore. No practice for Lamar Jackson Thursday after leaving Wednesday's session about 40 minutes early. Head coach John Harbaugh breathing a sigh of relief on his star quarterback.
He got his foot stepped on, like we said yesterday. I think Chad had mentioned that. They did a quick X-ray, and there's no damage or anything like that. I'm sure it's a little sore today, so we just kept him in, but he's fine. He's going to be good.
I did see a quote somewhere on Twitter yesterday where apparently Harbaugh said prayers really are answered because they were worried about Lamar.
We have that
with the
audio
X-rays.
somewhere.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah,
I
prayers
hadn't heard
being
it.
answered. I feel like you gotta, that's for the big stuff, right?
Yeah.
You do the prayers.
Like Super Bowl wins? Yeah.
For the Ravens, this is the big
Just
stuff.
getting
I
stepped
guess
on,
the
though.
foot getting stepped on in August.
Wow, it's getting stepped on. That's where a lot of injuries happen.
I suppose, yeah.
You're getting banging knee to knee, like
Yes, non-contact knee. That's that's
but
the
that
worst,
actually speaks to me.
or
Like,
Achilles.
The Ravens have a lot of pressure to win a Super Bowl this year. Like, there's a lot. Mel Kiper, and who was a Baltimore guy,
Or at least
like being
get
like,
there.
"This is the year." There's a lot of "this is the year" talk around Baltimore.
Sure.
So I feel like that Harbaugh is feeling it right now.
Mm-hmm. Preseason action last night. Steelers over the Panthers 19-10. No Aaron Rodgers or Bryce Young for their respective teams. Giants crushed the Patriots 42-10. Tommy DeVito, who's trying to make the roster again, was 17 of 20. 3 touchdown passes that did come in kind of mop-up duty, but he played well at the start. Rookie first-rounder Jackson Dart, 6 for 12, 81 yards and a score. There were several drops mixed into those passing numbers.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
He comes through his 3 preseason appearances without a turnover. Some impressive overall numbers, but now it's time to take a back seat and watch Russell Wilson, at least at the start of the season.
It's like whenever my number's called, that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play my game and I'm going to ball. And that's just my mindset anytime I touch the field. Obviously, Russ is the starter and he's going to do amazing. He's had such a great camp and has played at an elite level.
Giants go 3-0 in the preseason, open the regular season at Washington, at Dallas, home against the Chiefs, home Chargers. We talked about their schedule. It's no picnic, so we'll see how they handle that.
I'm going to be very annoying after they start 3-1.
It's pretty funny, by the way, that I think Russell Wilson basically got Russell Wilson by this kid. There's no doubt. Like, you watch Jackson Dart for 5 minutes, you're like, oh, are we really going through this Russell Wilson charade? And I was slow to this camp. I'll be honest. I think you said maybe that Jackson Dart has a chance here. I mean, he is obviously going very promising.
I was texting you guys from the nosebleeds in Buffalo saying that Jackson Dart was the next man.
I didn't want to hear it.
So I might want to.
Nosebleeds in Buffalo.
I went to preseason week 1, man.
God.
Which is funny because he
Preseason
could have
week
just
1.
went there last night. But
I mean, I went to Jets Giants, but I didn't have to go all the way to Orchard Park to watch that.
well, it's lovely this time of year. So
you want to go there in December? No.
I'm going to amend my. I had always said I thought Jackson Dart was going to get his first start Sunday, October 5th at New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Week 5. I'm going to amend that to week 2.
Wow.
No.
Week 2.
I mean, listen, a couple things. The Giants like starting guys on the road.
On Russell after week 1.
They pulled the plug on Eli Manning after 2 games when Daniel Jones was there. And Eli had way more skin in the game than Russ.
All right.
I mean, I think they're trying to figure out a way to, like,
maybe
hey,
just
Russ,
start him.
Walk into that room, Joe Pesci and Goodfellas style. Like, they definitely, they should not have committed to Russell Wilson because Jackson Dart looks, first of all, he's freaking big. Can I just say that guy he's a load running down the
need
field.
Him to slide, though.
Yeah, they want him sliding.
I need him sliding.
But week 2, I totally buy that. I think you make perfect sense.
It's just a little of how the Giants have done things recently. Now, with Eli, they waited till week 10.
Yeah,
when
that
Kurt
also
Warner
wasn't
was
stable.
Kurt Warner was
but
5-4, ironically, was I? Or
yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, their record was fine, and they had gotten Eli in a couple times, like late in games. He had taken some snaps regular season wise. He actually played in week 1 that year in Philadelphia.
Maybe it's more like playing. I think they like to start guys on the road, but maybe it's home LA Chargers week 4. Maybe Russ gets the first 3 weeks at Washington, at Dallas, home Kansas City, and
throw him into the Wolves. Just do it week 3 at home against the Chiefs.
I mean, you might.
I really hope not.
That's a prime time game, right?
You're right. That is a Sunday night. You won't do that. It's too much.
I mean, they could.
My buddy Case Keenum
seems to have the moxie.
Yeah. My buddy Case Keenum's been in this position a million times where he's the veteran bridge guy.
Yeah.
And he has to, he has a first round pick behind him. He was in LA, Jeff Fisher's final year, and he won a game, and he was so psyched. And then Fisher, for no apparent reason, said, Jared Goff's starting next week. There's a lot of
predetermined.
Teams, a lot of teams are just like, you might have won, but it was 10-3. We're not looking good on offense.
Yeah.
So, and there was Eli and Kurt Warner. This happens a lot and then the same thing happened the case where Dwayne Haskins was behind him. Sometimes, I don't know, you're right, the Giants have been in this situation, but even if Wilson's okay, they might be like, we got to see Dart because he looked really good.
You go 7-10 with Dart, everyone's getting fired.
But can I ask about
7-10 with Wilson, everyone's getting fired. It's all about Jackson Dart, and they know that.
Let me ask you a question about the 4th string here because DeVito played well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're talking too much about the Browns' 4th string quarterback.
Yeah.
They're not going to cut Jameis, are they? What's going to happen here with the Giants?
I think the only thing they could do if they wanted to keep 3 instead of 4 I'm sure they could trade Jameis. Somebody would. I mean, there's teams that need quarterback help, so I don't know if they will. But if they wanted to keep DeVito, now they could still put him on the practice squad, but then obviously
Somebody's
he's
gonna
free
grab
for
him.
someone to come and grab him off of there. So that is an interesting storyline with them over the course of the next few
Can I
years.
just float an idea that maybe they move all 4 of those quarterbacks into an apartment, film it, and make a sitcom out of it? Russell Wilson,
That could be
Jameis
good.
Winston, Tommy DeVito, and
I'd watch
Jackson Dart.
There was a video where Jackson Dart was feeding a W to
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, and he happily munched it.
They both knew exactly where the camera was and played it up for the
It
camera.
was the Skyview camera, too.
Yes,
it was
it was.
the
suspended
camera,
one. Yeah.
How about those diamonds that Jackson Dart's wearing out there on the field?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's
Do you see his post-game outfit,
opposite
too?
of Daniel Jones.
How
He's got
Tommy
a lot of
DeVito
charisma.
How Tommy DeVito became the 3rd most interesting character in this quarterback room
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Yeah. He's played well, and this is, I think, his 3rd year in Dable's system. Dable obviously likes him. So I'm not saying he's doesn't have a future as a starter, but he's a good backup.
And then Russell comes home and is like, would you guys clean up this place once in a while?
right.
He's the uptight Tony Randall guy. Russell is the adult in the room, but he must get so annoyed by the conversations around there.
It's like they're all sitting around playing video games and like Ciara's there, like
Yeah.
hanging out.
Get these guys out of here.
Jameis is Kramer. He comes in through the door, slides in with a funny line every time. Oh, this is going to be the best sitcom ever.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Jameis is Kramer.
That's fitting.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Gabba gabba goo.
CeeLo, thank you very much. All right, are we going to do this
walks
now?
out, Pearl.
You want to do our 12-team college football playoffs predictions?
Oh,
Are
man.
you ready? You've been sweating this out.
It is really hard, right? I know you haven't slept in 3 nights doing this assignment.
I would literally burn myself out doing this. I don't know if it was worth it, but I did it.
Anything for the show, Mags.
Well, listen, sometimes sleep's just going to have to wait. 888-710-4ISN. The big reveal next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Joel documentary that Perloff has asked me to watch 60 times.
So good. And I'm not even a massive Billy Joel fan. It is an incredible life story.
I know. I got to get to it. I will. I got a lot on my...
I think. Yeah.
I know. I got a lot on the plate. I got Jerry Jones. I got 7 more episodes of that I got to watch.
Oh, my God. You've 7. You've only gotten 1 in.
I've got 1 episode down. And then, college football literally starts this weekend. Pearl, week 0, Dublin, Kansas State, Iowa State. That's what gets us into our predictions for the 12-team college football playoff, and Perloff and I are going to pick the national champion. Let's go. All right, who gets to go first here?
Well, okay. Are we going to do all 12 at once? Why don't we do...
No, let's do your bracket, then my bracket.
Okay, all right, I'll go first.
Okay,
all right.
production meeting on the air.
Number 1, your Texas Longhorns. I got them 1 loss winning the SEC title game. Number 2, Penn State. 1 loss, winning the Big Ten championship game. James Franklin wins a big game. Not the big game, but a big game. Number 3, ACC champion Clemson. Then it gets interesting. Number 4, hold on to your hat. Ohio State with 2 losses. I think they lose that opener to Texas. And then they lose the Big Ten title game. So that's how I got them at number 4. But the committee seems to like teams that lose the conference title games. You ever notice that?
Yep.
5, Notre Dame, 1 loss, independent. 6, Arizona State, the Big 12 champion with only 1 loss on their resume. Number 7, I'll stop doing losses. Alabama. 8, Illinois. 9, Oregon. 10, SMU is my surprise pick out of the ACC. 11, Texas A&M as my SEC surprise pick. And I have 12, Boise. I think they could get higher than that. They're my group of 5. They could get higher than that. That might have been a little bit lazy on my part, but I have them as my number 12 seed.
Okay. Do you want to go through your matchups here?
Why don't you give me your 12, and then I'll come back and go through my back. I'm just dying to know where we match and where we differ.
Okay. We have some of the same, but actually quite a few different here. My 1 seed is going to be Clemson. I think they are going to finish the season ranked number 1 overall. 2 will be Georgia. 3, I have Ohio State. 4, I have Texas. So that's going to be your 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th seed is going to be Penn State. 6th seed, Notre Dame. 7 will be Oregon. 8, Alabama. 9, South Carolina. 10, your Utah Utes. 11, I have LSU. 12, my group of 5, group of 6, UNLV. So, Pearl, I think the biggest ones where you and I differ, I have LSU making the top 25. I've got, I do not have Boise. I'm sorry. I apologize, Boise.
Who did you have?
I have Utah as my Big 12. I have UNLV as my group of 5. What?
I have Georgia in all my drafts, and they fell out of my last one by total accident.
Oh, yeah, you didn't have Georgia. I have Georgia as my 2 seed. I have them winning the
No,
SEC
I
again
have
this
Georgia
year.
in, and I kept on doing iterations of this, and I froze them out. I'm doing a swap.
Wait a minute. We had weeks to put this together.
I know. I have 15 versions on my paper here. I had them originally as 4, and I kept moving them down. Oh, can you give me that?
All right, I'm going to keep going then.
Yeah.
So this will be my, I'll keep going while you mess around with yours.
Yeah.
The 5, so the top 4 get buys. So that would be Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas in my bracket all get buys. The 5-12 would be Penn State against UNLV. I have Penn State advancing. My 6-11, this is a lot of people have done this, and I'm going to do it too because I think the committee is cute. Notre Dame versus LSU. You're 6 versus 11. I'm not the first person to do that. I fully admit it. But a Brian Kelly revenge situation or Notre Dame revenge. I have my 7-10 Oregon versus Utah. Oregon would advance. My 8-9 Bama versus South Carolina, and I have South Carolina advancing. So it's set up Clemson versus South Carolina, Georgia versus Oregon, Ohio State LSU, and Texas Penn State, of which I have Oregon beating LSU, Texas beating Clemson, and Texas is your national champion in Maggie's bracket.
All right.
Got all that?
I do. Okay. I have Texas, Oregon in the next round. I have Texas advancing in that. Penn State, Bama. Penn State advancing in that, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Penn State made the Final Four last year, so it's not that crazy. I have Clemson and Georgia. I have Clemson advancing in that. I have Ohio State and Notre Dame. Clemson advances.
Wait, who wins over Ohio State, Notre Dame?
I have Ohio State winning that game. So then I have Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, Penn State is my Final Four. Texas over Clemson in the title game.
Well, you and I both picked Texas.
I know.
Funny.
I want to go. You know
we
what
didn't want
it
to
was?
tell each other what we were doing.
Yeah. And you have Clemson going how far?
I have them losing to Texas in the semifinal.
Okay, so our semifinals just matched up different ways because I had Clemson falling. You had Clemson at number 1.
Yep.
I had Clemson at number 3. So Clemson being number 1, let me ask you, that kind of means they would probably have to be undefeated and win the conference title game because I think that
I think they could lose to LSU and still maybe find their way back up.
Yeah, week 1. I'm just thinking that the number 1 seed would, in my mind, be the SEC champion. That's why I have Texas number 1 with 1 loss. So I just happen to move around.
No, you're probably right. Clemson probably has to be undefeated to be the number 1 team, but they probably could be. I mean, they are a slight favorite
possible
against LSU.
I mean, I'll tell you a couple things that wooed me towards Clemson and to Texas. This is so stupid, but Field Yates put out a mock draft, and it is all Clemson. I mean, it's just like 5 top 30 picks, 4 top 15 picks. It just seems like every evaluator has them as loaded, and same with Texas's defense.
Yep.
I honestly think it might be Texas's defense to make the difference. Was that part of your thinking?
It was. It certainly was. Now, Nico had a look of disgust on his face. Is this because Michigan did not make it into either of our top 25?
That is correct.
Bunch
I mean,
of
what is that
cheaters.
nonsense?
Bunch of cheaters.
I could see a little part of Nico died there. He's like, oh, come on, you guys.
It's a young quarterback, right?
It's the freshman QB.
Well, I think both of us erred towards the older quarterbacks throughout this thing.
Definitely. I don't have any, well, I guess Ohio State, if you want to put Julian Said, is not a true freshman, but, he's going to basically getting his first action.
And we have to get back into this next hour. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because you only have 1 ACC team.
I do. I have Clemson as my 1 ACC team. I have Utah as my 1 Big 12 team, and I have UNLV as my 1 Group of 6 team. The rest is all Big 10 and SEC.
So you think the ACC conference champion game loser does not have a shot? That is interesting.
I know if EJ was here, he would not like that because clearly I'm leaving out his Miami Hurricanes.
What is this, Maggie? Leaving out my Hurricanes.
Was that an EJ impersonation? Oh, boy.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Team college football playoff predictions right here on a silver platter. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Week 0 upon us. We're all jealous that we're not in Dublin to watch Iowa State, Kansas State, because that would have been awesome. But Pearl, we neither of us have Iowa State or Kansas State making the final 12. Instead, we just put out our 12-team college football playoff participants. You want to quickly go through your 12, and I'll go back through mine to welcome in a new audience.
Okay. Number 1, Texas. 2, Penn State. 3, Clemson. 4, Ohio State. 5, Notre Dame. 6, Arizona State. 7, Alabama. 8, Illinois. 9, Oregon. 10, Georgia. 11, SMU. 12, Boise.
Okay, I'll go through mine. I have 1, Clemson. 2, Georgia. 3, Ohio State. 4, Texas. So you and I have a lot of similarities here. 5 for me is Penn State. 6 would be Notre Dame. 7, Oregon. 8, Alabama. 9, South Carolina. 10, Utah. 11, LSU. And 12, UNLV, representing the group of 6. One of the best transfer classes that we have actually goes to UNLV, according to a lot of these rankings. Alex Orji, the former Michigan quarterback, who's now going to be at the helm there, and Dan Mullen is back. So, okay, a couple places where you and I really, really agree. We're all buying the Kool-Aid on Clemson. It's not Kool-Aid. We're buying in on Clemson with all the talent they have.
It reminds me a lot of Ohio State last year. Like, everybody came back at Ohio State. Everybody came back at Clemson.
Yep. I think we're both buying Texas. I know that because, spoiler alert, we both have them winning the national title. We're buying into their defense. Obviously, Arch, Sark finally getting over the hump, all of that stuff. We're clearly both believers. It's Penn State to a certain degree.
I'm a big-time believer in Penn. I'd be shocked if they weren't in the playoff. Like, shocked.
Oh, me too. They have a similar kind of thing. Everyone coming back, went into the transfer portal to get wide receivers.
Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren, their best.
No, but they got denied Dennis Sutton. They've got the next crop of great Penn State pass rushers.
They are going to control the ball on the ground with those running backs and just be awesome.
I think where you and I, the biggest differences that we have is that I have LSU and South Carolina getting in, and you do not.
Yeah, so wait. Also your Big 12. Who's your Big 12?
Utah.
Why are you not into Arizona? Why can Arizona State not get back there? Because to me, it's like they have Sam Levitt looks great, and they have a big-time receiver, Jordan Tyson, too. Like, feels like they're as good a team as I know Cam Scatterbo is gone. Great coach. Like, I feel like that. I felt really good about them. In fact, I think they could win a game.
There's nothing I think that is set in stone about the Big 12 ever. I think that this is a team, this is a conference where we're going to go through multiple different champions. I don't think there is going to be anything dynastic about anything. And even with those big names, I mean, Utah also has a really great class. I mean, last year they were down. They had some of the worst quarterback production in the entire Power Four. They have changed that. This could be a Kyle Whittingham right off into the sunset situation after 22 years or 23 at Utah. I think they are a stacked team. They have a real big home field advantage as well. So I just, it's not against Arizona State. I think that we're going to see a lot of churn at the top for years and years to come.
Well, Arizona State has to go to Utah, so we'll see how that works out. But that's one difference that stuck out to me. Also, too, I know, so they fired all the offensive coaches from last year, right, and brought in new guys, but that's like a lot of change there. So we'll see. Okay, what else do we have different?
So I have South Carolina and I have LSU, and you do not.
Yeah, I feel like, why are we talking more about Garrett Nussmeier's knee? Patellar tendonitis, and maybe it's because I'm influenced by our producer, EJ Stewart, ruining his life with his patellar injury.
He did,
I still see Garrett Nussmeier. He was in and out of practice. I feel like that is one thing. And I have to be honest, I don't have faith in Brian Kelly right now. I feel like this is not going as planned. Just because all the other LSU coaches succeeded at this point does not mean he will. I don't know why. In my mind, I'm fading them a little bit. That doesn't mean anything. He could be the next guy to win the title in his fourth year. Fourth year or third year? Fourth year at LSU, just like Ed Orgeron and just like Les Miles. But LSU for me was an easy one to fade.
Yeah, see, to me, I think that Brian Kelly actually gets a pretty bad rap. If you look at his win-loss percentage and his actual record, it's better than what Nick Saban did in his first few years at LSU, and it's right on par with all those great coaches. He just has to win the title because those guys have.
Yep. I
think that they have really made a commitment to their defense being a lot better, and I guess for some reason I'm just never really that concerned about an LSU offense. So, I'm bullish on LSU. Again, I have them in the 6-11 matchup. I have them as the 11 seed, 6-11, Notre Dame versus LSU. I know a lot of people have done this, but I like the cuteness. I think the committee can get cute at times, and to have Brian Kelly playing against his former team in Notre Dame and how much bad blood is now there, I think would be very compelling. So part of it. In South Carolina, I'm buying on Lenora Sellers. Now, but for that 9 seed for an SEC team, I had to really pick. I felt like I was really picking between Lenora Sellers and South Carolina and DJ Lagway in Florida. I think a lot of people really love Florida, rightfully so. And if Lagway can be healthy, I think I would not be surprised if I look silly here by leaving the Gators out.
Oh, I mean, that schedule is just ridiculous.
Well, it's the SEC. I mean, and I do think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on strength of schedule and forgiving losses. Like, I think we could get multiple teams with 3 losses into this year's bracket. I think there's going to be an overcorrection. Now, can I tell you the other...
Did you leave Illinois out?
I did.
Yeah.
The other big team that I left out that I feel it feels wrong to me is Nebraska.
Come on.
I'm serious.
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
All right. Nebraska, to me, I did leave them out, so I guess this is a little like, I don't know what I'm trying to do here, but I do believe that Dylan Raiola is that talented. I do like him with Dana Holgerson, and there is a Matt Rule year 3, track record that he has a lot of success in his 3rd year in a program. So I think they're going to be really exciting, but I do not have them in my final 12.
Okay. Why I want to bet you on, I think Illinois makes it, and I'll tell you why. Last year they were 10-3. They've been really consistent. Their schedule is like, they are this year's Indiana. Now they start out at Western Illinois, then at Duke, could be challenging. Duke's got a lot to prove. I mean, they're Duke. Then Western Michigan at Indiana, who's number 20. So that is supposed to be a very hard game. Do we know? I mean, Indiana feels to me like they call it lightning bottle. USC in Illinois at Purdue. Then they host Ohio State. I think that's going to be a very interesting game. At Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, at Northwestern. Like, they're going to win a lot of games. They're just going to, they have a great chance to come out of here with 2 losses and be in there. Last year, they had 3 losses. I feel like Illinois is this year's Indiana, just based on their schedule's not too hard.
Yeah, see, I don't know if we're going to get it this year's Indiana.
You think the committee is going to be disciplined enough to count strength of schedule?
I think this is what I have no faith in college football powers that be for things like this, because I see the pendulum swing so drastically from one side to the other. So what happened, right? They got criticized last year because Indiana got in with a lighter schedule and did not play well in the college football playoff. So they're going to go the pendulum the complete other way. And LSU will get in with 3 losses, and South Carolina will get in with 3 losses, and Alabama will get in with 2. And I think they're going to do an overcorrection.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, the other one, too, I really wanted to put Oklahoma in there because I think John Mateer is the man. Their schedule's insane, too, because they have to go, they basically go to every hard school. They're very much like Florida. Were you tempted by the Sooners?
Yes, I was. But, I was. But the one thing about John Mateer, and I think he is going to be very good, and I see all the hype around him, but let's maybe pump the brakes on Cam Ward 2.0. They were playing very different types of schedules when Cam Ward was actually at Washington State. He was actually playing against the Pac-12. John Mateer was playing against the Mountain West.
Yeah, but Cam Ward didn't even look that great at Washington State when he was playing against the Pac-12. Mateer is just, he's so much more mobile than Cam Ward. Cam Ward runs around to make throws, but Mateer is he's going to run for a ton of yards. I think he's going to be great. But here's the thing with Oklahoma. Listen, after their early season, which is actually tough, they play Michigan. They play Michigan.
Yep.
October 11th, number 1 Texas. October 18th at number 13 South Carolina. Host number 21 Ole Miss at Tennessee, at Alabama. End up the season against top 10 LSU. I mean, how do you get them and Florida? They are really in a tough spot because of all these SEC challenges.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. If you have maybe who's the team that no one else is really talking about that you think is going to be in the college football playoff? Nico, I know you think that Michigan is going to be there for sure, even with a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think their schedule is tough enough to see them losing more than 2 games, because the only 2 ranked teams they have, and obviously the rankings will change as the season goes on, but it's really just Oklahoma and Ohio State. So even if they do lose those 2 games, I'd like to think that a 10-2 Michigan team is good enough to get in.
Probably.
They have to lose to Ohio State this year, right? Like, Ohio State cannot, I mean, right? Or am I crazy here?
I don't know. I mean, I thought that they were going to lose last year, and they smoked them. So who can never tell with this rivalry?
One more thing. Why aren't people talking about SMU? They are as under the radar as possible. They're basically the same team that made it last year. They have a great coaching staff. They have a very, very good quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like they're getting disrespected, not just by you, but by everybody.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a little bias of how it ended last year. Not great.
It was 0 degrees in Penn State.
Well, I mean, do you think they're hosting, they're not going to be playing in the Sugar Bowl? I don't know what to say. They may have to go on campus and go to another cold place.
Yeah, but the people a lot of people don't even have them as a threat to make the playoffs again. You could be right. Maybe the committee looks at their lack of performance in the first round last year. But, I mean, they're kind of set up for success. I think it's going to be 3 teams, Miami, Clemson, and I think SMU is right there.
Yeah.
I think
what about Louisville?
Well, I would put Louisville a level below them.
Okay. Because Georgia Tech, people like this. This is the thing about the ACC. They might beat up on each other. Now you got Belichick at North Carolina. Duke looks like they could be something.
There are a lot of W's on it. I mean, North Carolina, that's another one. Their schedule is so unbelievably easy. Because the bottom of the ACC is weak sauce. So by the way, were you tempted to buy Bill Belichick?
I was, but
that's a big TBD.
I can't. I don't think that they're gonna. I can't. I don't think they're gonna be ranked high enough. I don't think they're gonna be as good as
I
people
definitely
think. I don't think people think they're gonna be good. I think they're gonna lose to TCU. I'm not sure this Belichick thing is gonna work like that perfectly year one.
Oh, I think they definitely are in the conversation.
But you didn't put them in your bracket.
I did not, but I have them right behind it, and just because of the schedule. I mean, Bill Belichick has 9 wins, and you're sitting in that committee. You don't think someone's going to make an argument for it? I mean,
Probably,
normally 9-3 will not get you in and out of the ACC, but I think if he's close, it'll be. You said being cute, putting Brian Kelly against Notre Dame. Come on, if you're in that committee, Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, that's good TV.
and Jordan Hudson, when's she going to play a tailback? All right, that's our college football playoff predictions.
Long snapper.
888-710-4ISN. She's like 90 pounds. 888-710-4476.
Her and Bradley Schwartz.
Now let's get to the NFL.
I feel so lucky to be the quarterback.
It's the position everyone wishes they could play.
Why can't I be quarterback, huh?
Sit down and shut up.
But it's not for the faint at heart.
Quarterbacks are premium.
I think those things add up to make it quarterbacking the toughest job in sports.
Maggie and Perloff answer one big question about the quarterback.
All right, Manny Guapo, what is the question we are answering today?
Well, guys, why don't we go to the Music City? I ask you guys, in a rather weak AFC South, is there any chance that Cam Ward can lead the Titans to the playoffs?
No, he can't lead them to the playoffs, but Pearl, can I give you this prediction for Cam Ward? We've got a star on our hands. I think we knew that a bit in Miami, but he's a quote, and he's a good follow. I think he's trying to be a leader. I think he's trying to give the Titans more of an identity than they've had. I think he's going to be a factor. He's going to put Tennessee on the map. Are they going to be a playoff team? No, but I think they're going to be a lot closer. I could see him winning 6 or 7 games. We did this about what we think could happen. It's not playoffs yet. The AFC is too stacked, but Cam Ward is going to become a thing in our lives. That's my biggest prediction about what goes on in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Cam Ward's awesome.
Yeah.
The problem is the coaching staff. So that's I totally down with you. I think he's going to be a star. The issue is, do they like Brian Callahan? There's a report came out, I think, last week that they almost fired him in the offseason. Like, this could be only part of Cam Ward's journey. If they're not good, say if they have 5 wins this year, I think they would fire Callahan. I don't think they're going to look at Ward's development. I don't think the new GM is into him. So that's one thing. But one thing you and I differ about Ward is I think he is like a great personality in the sense that like he's got that sort of Patrick Mahomes team thing going. Like I think like he came from nothing, wasn't even a recruit, basically had to go to Incarnate Word because nobody wanted him to play football for them. Came out of a T-wing in high school. He's just like, he's beloved by teammates, has always been one of the guys. He's a little brash in press conferences, but I feel like he's just got like that. It's not the it factor you're describing. He's a fun press conference. I just feel like he is a guy that is going to be a real leader in the NFL. Like he's cut out to be a star good quarterback. He reminds me a lot. you know how Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and I think Josh Allen, there's just something about their personalities that lend themselves to being great team quarterbacks. I think he's going to be the guy. I think everyone's going to follow him.
I think they'll follow him, but I don't see him cut from the cloth of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. I see him cut from the cloth of Cam Newton. I think that he's coming in and saying, listen, the losing stops now, and I'm going to be a big part of it. Lamar Jackson's never said anything interesting in a press conference. All his stuff happens behind the scenes. Ditto Mahomes. I mean, I think Ward is going to challenge people. I think he comes in, not that he's being fake about it or it's so ego, but I think he comes in knowing that there's a lot riding on his shoulders to be the savior of the franchise. I mean, he's out there fighting with Jeffrey Simmons. He's out there calling out the offense at press conferences saying we look like crap today. He's going to say it. So it could be a bit polarizing for some teammates, but...
No, I don't think so. They're all... Have you read these stories about the 5 a.m. workouts? Like, they are following this guy.
Great.
And also, too, I just think, like, he's, like, famously kind of a nice guy, too. I don't think Cam Newton is a great analogy for him. I think he's much closer to Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
But do you think that Mahomes was ever fighting Chris Jones? Like, do you think he was ever stepping to him? Because that's what we got in this practice with Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons, who got into it. Like, that's very different.
Well, no. But, I mean, the defense, that's the other team. Like, who cares about it? Like, Cam Ward is about his offensive guys.
No, but he got into a scuffle with a defensive guy on the team. That actually happened.
Right. I don't think about... Right. But, like, basically, your own defense is not part of what... Cam Ward's not going to lead those guys. Like, he's leading his guys. Like, his guys are following him like crazy. His offensive guys. Yeah, I don't think Mahomes would really go after the defense, but I don't think Mahomes really cares to have relationships with anyone on the Chiefs defense. You never see those guys coming up to Mahomes. Like, the quarterback's job is to have the offense follow you, like, around like you are the man. I think the comparator to Cam Newton is not who Cam Ward is. Based on a lot of interviews I've seen, I think he's just the guy. He just has it to me.
Cam Newton was definitely the guy.
But Cam did things way differently than a lot of other quarterbacks. Like Cam, he just like, first of all, if there was ever a goal line situation, like Cam was going to keep the ball and run it in and do a Superman. Like he just was bigger than life factor. I think Cam Ward is much more of a traditional team player. Cam Newton was not. I think their styles are different. You're saying like he's going to be like get all the attention to me, do the Superman pose.
No, I think it's the same leadership style, though. You know, Cam Newton came into the Carolina Panthers and said, you guys suck and the losing stops now. And I think that rubbed some people the wrong way, but eventually he was proven right and that they should follow him because he was that good of a talent. I think Cam Ward is saying a similar thing publicly. He came out and said, offense is mid, got some attention, got some headlines. Like, all right, we got somebody on our hands here who's not afraid to say it. And then as far as like stepping and getting into a scuffle with the best defensive player on the other side to kind of show, hey, I'm not going to stand down. I'm going to stand my ground here. And he does want to be a leader for the team. I'm not saying it's a negative, but it reminds me more of Cam Newton than it does Patrick Mahomes.
For me, his quote that really stood out to me was, you know, my dad woke up at 4:30 and went to work every day. Like, how could I ever complain about having to work hard?
Yeah, that's not Mahomes. Mahomes grew up in a Major League Baseball locker room.
Well, it's definitely not Cam Newton, though. Like, he's like, Ward is basically saying, like, I'm here. I know I'm here because I work really hard. Like, he's just definitely like, he's not like I'm some golden god of quarterback. And he's like, I know my journey. Like, I've been at the bottom. And he sort of takes that with him. Like, he's very much a product of the fact that he went to Incarnate Word. Like, he talks about it all the time. Like, he was not a 5-star recruit. He feels like, you know how Aaron Rodgers came out of junior college and Josh Allen came out of Butte? Like, Ward has the same backstory. He was a nobody. And you kind of see it like, dude seems to work really, really hard. Cam was just so outrageously talented. He just showed up, and it was like, maybe that's not giving Cam enough credit, but Cam was just so overwhelmingly talented. He's like,
also had to go to junior college.
Yeah, true, but not at first. He went to Florida at first. He was, I think, number 1, 2, or 3 recruit. I just think that, I don't know. He reminds me so much of those other guys. Cam Newton was just like, I am the most talented player on this team, and follow me, and I'll get you guys everywhere. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Cam Ward is a different kind of person than what I think you're describing.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Lots more to do, including, how about Bill Belichick taking shots? Perloff and I do not have North Carolina in our top 12 college football playoff teams, but it doesn't mean we won't hear from Bill. We got the latest for you next. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Will Daly packed his racket, heading west with pride, up to Denver's mountains where the tennis streams collide. He's stepping on that hard court with the Rockies in his view, chasing down a victory with a heart that's tried and true. Oh, Daly's taking a big step up. The Mile High Lights are calling his bluff, but back at home, the same old song where Peter Bellotti don't show up for work at dawn. Yeah, the anthem's playing, the truth still stands. Daly's fighting in Denver with the racket in his hands. Now shit keeps talking, but one thing's sure, he'll never stream on YouTube, that door's not secure. And Bogusch is laughing, spin a tale so absurd about Peter Schwartz, and a story you never heard. Drunkle Sam's at the office, new boss in control, pouring coffee in the break room with a humble old soul. Oh, Daly's taking the big step up. The Mile High Lights are calling his bluff, but back at home it's the same old tune where Peter Bellotti don't show up for work at dawn. Yeah, the anthem's ringing, the voice is loud. Daly's standing tall and making us proud. From the city streets to the mountain skies, there's a fire in his game and a fight in his eyes. No Bellotti alarm clock, no shit streaming live, but Daly's got the spirit that keeps the dream alive. Daly's taking the big step up. The Denver crowd just can't get enough. Bellotti's missing, Bogusch tells lies. Ship won't stream, Sam's boss keeps him tied. But through it all, there's a victory song. Daly in Denver where the champions belong. Yeah, Daly in Denver where the champions belong. Daly packed his racket, heading west with pride, up to Denver's mountains, where the tennis streams collide. He's stepping on that hard court with the Rockies in his view, chasing down a victory with a heart that's tried and true. Oh, Daly's taking the big step up. The Denver crowd just can't get enough. Bellotti's missing, Bogusch tells lies. Shit won't stream, Sam's boss keeps him tied. But through it all, there's a victory song. Daly in Denver where the champions belong.
45 seconds.
Yeah, Daly in Denver where the champions belong.
$30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff show. A lot going on. We both put out our final college football playoff prediction. Both went Texas Longhorns. We did not show each other our list beforehand. Some big differences. Maggie went SEC crazy. I'm feeling my dark horse, it's not that dark horse, is to get SMU in there. I feel like there you're getting slept on. Who was your biggest underdog to get into the final thing? South Carolina, I think? Or?
I have South Carolina, so I have 5 SEC teams. So I have Georgia, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, LSU. I'm sorry, I have 5. 5 SEC teams.
Right.
Then my Big Ten teams are Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. My Big 12 team is Utah. Excuse me, 3 Big Ten teams. Utah is my Big 12 team, and Tulane is my group of 6.
Not Tulane.
Excuse me, UNLV.
Right. So,
Sorry,
okay.
I had
So you
Tulane
have
cross them out. Their schedule's too hard.
Yeah. So your lowest seed, my lowest seed is SMU. Your lowest seed is probably USC there. Or
South Carolina is a 9 seed.
No, I know.
LSU is 11.
In the AP poll, I'm saying like your biggest surprise. Yeah, there's a lot of work for South Carolina to do. I know Lenore Sellers is a stud. We'll see about this. I feel a little better about mine as far as my conference alignment here. That I got. I think you're going to see 2 ACC teams.
How many SEC versus Big Ten?
Okay, so I got to do my math here. I have 3 Big Ten teams.
Okay,
just
so
like
do
you
I.
have 3.
Yep.
Except I have Illinois and you have
Oregon, Penn State, and
I have 4.
Ohio State.
I have Penn State, Ohio State, Illinois, and Oregon. So I give the Big Ten a lot of credit there.
Which is funny because you don't give the Big Ten a lot of credit in real life.
No, I know, but I think that they're going to be tempted by the easy schedules and the one-loss teams. Boise, what about our audience, man?
I love Boise. You know I do. But I think UNLV's got a real shot here.
Okay. CeeLo, who's got a better ranking? Just putting you on the spot right now. I don't even know if you're listening.
Who's got a better? For you guys?
Yeah,
for your college football playoff field there? I can't say that I can give you a strong opinion.
Who do you think's winning the national championship?
I have no idea.
Haven't done the research yet?
No.
Not a big college football better?
No.
Okay.
I am not at all.
He
I
likes
enjoy
Army.
watching.
He told me in the break.
I enjoy watching, but I don't fashion myself. It's too much. It's always been too much for me to keep up with. It's too many teams.
CeeLo, is it because you were from the New York City area and there's not exactly the college football team in the area?
Definitely a factor. I went to a non-football college, so that's it. That's
Where'd
a
you
factor
go?
too. I went to Quinnipiac.
Yep.
Big hockey school.
Dirty Q.
No football.
That's what they call it, the dirty Q.
That's what I've heard.
I've been
What's the deal
to.
with Does everybody have to work on the polls there?
I was going to say.
No, it's not a requirement. And thankfully, when I first went there, that's all they were known for. At least now it's a little bit more on the map, especially with the hockey team over the years being pretty good. People know it a little bit more now than maybe when I first started there in 2004.
I'll tell you what, I had a landline for a little bit when I was first in New York City. I don't know why. I think they were just offering it with your internet and cable.
Yeah.
And I got more calls than Quinnipiac. I'm like, can I get a date?
Yeah.
I can't get anyone to call me, but Quinnipiac's on the line 20 times a day.
They wanted your opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it to them either.
Yeah, well.
Sometimes I flew Delta recently, and I got this urgent text message like, we are giving you an opportunity to fill out our survey. I'm like, oh, my God, that is so nice of
Been
you.
waiting for that opportunity.
The opportunity.
I just paid you a crap load of money for this ticket. Now I have to fill out your survey. Yeah. I find the corporate language around surveys so annoying.
So I don't do surveys, and I don't leave reviews unless it's so horrifically bad.
Where are you, like a Yelp review, you mean?
Yeah, like
an internet review?
I would never really, no offense, like maybe I should if something's awesome that I should spend.
We should. I'm a snob like that too. I rely on reviews a lot when I'm making decisions, but I don't leave them.
I just if it's a bad experience, I just tell them to, shove it up there.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what happened? So I had a bad experience recently with something.
Thank you, CeeLo.
Shove where the sun don't shine, like Michael Parsons' agent. Get to that in a minute. I'm not a review person, right? And I had a bad experience at some place once, and it was awkward and bad.
Like a restaurant, a service-oriented place?
It wasn't at a restaurant.
Right.
It was like a hair cutting situation, but I wasn't getting my hair cut. But something else happened, and it was just really bad, like unprofessional. Service was bad, the whole deal. And I was just going to let it go. Like I kind of drove away fuming, but I'm not going to write the review. And then the company sent me like a text message, hey, rate your experience.
Yeah.
And had they not sent me that text, I would have just let it go. But they got me in the heat of the moment. I was like, I wouldn't let these people touch my dog's hair. You know, I don't even have a dog.
Yeah.
I like unleashed because I was just in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop sending those to people.
I know. I got this nice note
Go ahead.
from Eric at Delta. Hey, hello, Andrew. Thank you for choosing Delta. Now I'm going to give you the honor of filling out this survey that we can turn around and market because you didn't pay enough for your darn ticket to Phoenix, and then your movie thing didn't fritz out for 3 hours, so I couldn't watch a new Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Where were you then when the flight attendant kept coming by? I'm like, she's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just not working.
Yeah.
You
say, Maggie, though, they should stop sending that stuff, but it works because quantity, right? They want to show that they have lots of reviews. Because I'll admit, if I go to a place and I see there's only a few, I'm like, When it's a big number, I'm like, that's a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you go, you'll find the one person who gives the 0 or the 1 star that had a miserable experience. But they know that most people are probably satisfied and going to say good things.
Restaurants is the big one, right? Though we're all dependent on restaurant reviews. I was in Blythe, Arizona, and Garcia's got all these and had a large number of reviews saying you have to have all the food here, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, so they steered you in the right direction.
Oh, 1,000%. In fact, if it wasn't in the middle of nowhere, I would go back tomorrow. It was authentic Mexican food. It was incredible.
Sounds great.
It was a little out of the way. But it was really, I think, the reviews, and it wasn't just Yelp. It was everybody was writing on the internet, you have to go to this place. So it is quantity, but why would we help out a huge company like Delta? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the place that I was also responding to was not a mom and pop. It was a big enough place that they were texting me afterwards, mass text.
Yeah. Oh, like an automated text.
Yes.
Right. If it's big enough to have that, then they don't deserve your help.
No, I grew up with my parents owned a small business, a restaurant and catering company. There's no way that I would skewer somebody else just because I know what goes into this kind of thing.
Sure.
But no, the big companies, I'm like, I'm going to let you have it.
Maggie loves the corporations.
Sela, what's going on
And
today?
billionaires. She's a big fan of billionaires.
Yeah, except for I think it's immoral. Go ahead,
So
Sela.
circling back, I don't have a national champ pick for you, football-wise. But
you still have the next hour.
I do, yes. Maybe I'll do a little digging on that. I'll bring you an option for next hour. You do have the SEC. This is not a surprise. They've been talking about this for years, but they are going to play 9-game conference schedule beginning in 2026. That decision approved by the SEC's presidents and chancellors after a recommendation by the athletic directors in the conference. So under the new format, SEC will continue to play without divisions. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining traditional rivalries, and the remaining 6 games will rotate among the rest of the league opponents. So each team will face every other SEC program at least once every 2 years, and every opponent home and away over 4 years. So a little bit more spacing and some extra games conference-wise. So maybe a blend of what they've been doing and then adding a little bit extra as well. So that's coming your way in 2026. One more from Jerry Jones talking Micah Parsons with Michael Irvin on his YouTube show. And, hey, I spoke to Micah back in March. We had this all nailed down, and then the agent stepped in and ruined the whole thing.
We had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. We were going to send it over to the agent, and the agent said, don't bother. Because we've got all that to negotiate.
So that's the part where Jerry's saying that they had talked numbers. He doesn't tell us exactly what the numbers are, other than we offered him more than anyone else. To your point, though, a bit of a technicality because no one else is allowed to offer him a
right.
contract
Believe me, if the
yet.
Chargers could come in and do it, they would, but they can't.
Yes, and you had Micah unfollowing the Cowboys on social media Thursday. Latest move on his part to illustrate his unhappiness with this whole situation. I agree with Perloff. A lot of guys do that, and then in short order is usually when we get the agreement on some sort of new contract or extension. So
I mean, he's kind of running out of moves here.
Right, exactly, yes.
he could not show up. That's really the last
That's
one
a great idea.
he's got.
I like that idea.
The scrubbing the social
Specifically
media.
week 2, right?
Mhm.
Right, Manny? Yeah.
Yeah, the scrubbing the social media feels like the most immature of all the moves. It's like,
big time.
Yeah.
It's token in these days.
Yeah,
a lot of guys do that. Yeah.
It really doesn't have the impact. It feels like it's
No.
almost like your to-do list. Got to scrub this so they know I'm serious.
Yes.
If you really want to show me something, Micah, you go ahead and block them as well. Block the Cowboys on
Ooh.
Instagram. Ooh, that's a whole nother level into
We
Gen
wouldn't
Zers.
be able to see that, though, no?
No,
That'd
we
just
wouldn't
be on his end.
No, that would just be on
He'd
his
have to put a
end.
screenshot
He would have
up.
to put up a screenshot, but
yeah.
show me something, Micah.
All right. Maybe that's coming next, as
Can I
Maggie
ask
said,
one
he's
more?
running out of moves.
I know. Can I ask another question here about Jerry V, the agent?
Yeah.
So this is a pretty powerful agent, right? He's got
Yeah,
Michael
very.
Parsons, for goodness sakes. He doesn't have any other Cowboys that he represents. There's no other business that he's either done or will do with the Cowboys. There's
I
like
mean-
7 agencies, really.
I
They
wa-
all do business with every team.
I watched a documentary about David Mulligeta. It was like
He's
an
got
hour.
a documentary?
Oh, my God.
Well, it was it wasn't a documentary. It was like an hour-long special, and it showed this dinner with some of his clients. It wasn't a documentary. It wasn't like a Netflix thing. It was sort of I don't know what it was. Is it Path to the Draft? Possibly. It might have been Path to the Draft. Anyway, he was sitting there at a table. I think he had Jalen Ramsey. He had
Deshaun
Watson, but he had big-time quarter. He had like 4 quarterbacks at the table. Like he's got major clients. I don't know if he gets down into like the guards and like somebody else at his agency might do the position players. So it's possible he's only doing the big names. And obviously Jerry doesn't have a lot of, 1 or 2. He's like I feel like he's a kind of a quarterback guy. The list is really, really impressive though. Like he's making a lot of money.
Like when I think about Drew Rosenhaus, right? Who's the other kind of household name when it comes to football agents.
Yes.
Like I don't remember Drew Rosenhaus that ever it can be contentious, no doubt, but not personal.
True.
I don't know, because you still got to do business with these guys.
Oh, I'm sure that a lot of owners have been upset with him.
Oh, I'm sure they call and curse him out, but they don't say publicly, I have no idea who he is.
Here's just this list, and just a quick internet search. Jordan Love, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, Kyle Pitts, Derek Stingley Jr., J.C. Horn. These are Mulligeta clients.
Right, so how does he has no other Cowboys? Like that doesn't...
I think, like none of those guys are on the Cowboys. Like, yeah, I think David Mulligeta might only have stars, and then some junior guy does
everything else?
Does the position players? Maybe. You're right. No. Jerry but he was doing that thing when you meet a girl with a boyfriend that you forget the boyfriend's name. Like,
right.
That was on purpose.
Play
we
it
all
down.
know that. I'm on Team Mulligeta here. I would rake Jerry over the coals on this deal, and that's what's going to happen.
What's best for your client? That should be the answer always. CeeLo, we got time for one more. What do you have?
All right. Let me give you this. So Giants and Patriots last night, the scores are relevant in this case. Amazon Prime, their broadcast team did the game. So I think it was Carissa Thompson with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
So this got out somehow. They're rehearsing their pregame on-field hit where they're going to talk about Jackson Dart.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Okay. So somehow it made its way to social media. I'll play it and then play what they actually said on the air, and then we can quickly discuss.
You've seen from Jackson Dart that you like?
From Jake?
From Jake from State Farm.
Jake? From Jackson Dart, it's exciting. He's got leadership, he's got intelligence, and he's got moxie, which is a fun thing. I don't like his release. I think it's slow. He dances like Drew Lock. Not a huge fan. I don't think Giants fans should be excited at all.
Okay, we'll definitely say that on air.
So I think he was probably, messing
They
around.
realize that this is a blown take. Yeah.
But odd to say all of that into a mic when it's probably being recorded. So that somehow made its way out there. Here's what he actually said when they were live on the air, or the taped portion that they did broadcast on Amazon Prime.
Fans should be excited about Jackson Dart. Why?
Oh, my goodness. He's intelligent. He's got the arm strength, but it's the moxie. It's the way that he carries himself. And you've seen it even the way he's played in the preseason, the arm angles, the swagger. I think guys really resonate and are drawn to a guy like that. He has the pedigree from playing a lot of snaps in college. Really excited to see when he gets out there this season.
So no mention of all
Very
the
different,
other
yeah.
stuff.
But
the
on the
negative
arm
stuff.
angle stuff, yeah.
And the Drew Lock reference and bouncing around. So I don't know, again, if that was him just like kind of, we're not really doing this for love, just say something. Or if he actually believes some of that and then he cleaned it up to make it all I don't know, but that was kind of funny. I did see that floating around there last night.
It's also someone did him real dirty to put that out.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Because that's an inside job.
Yes. And there were quite a few people who I think took it as that's what he really said on the air, because people I saw in the mentions were like, oh, this is, some of the aggregators like, oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick kills Jackson Dart, So, and then Fitzpatrick himself put out that second clip that I just played, my thoughts on Jackson Dart for all those interested in preseason pregame shows. So I wonder if he realized that other one got out there and he made sure to tweet out the actual clip of what aired.
But it is an inside job because that would have never aired.
Exactly.
Right. So someone in the production truck or somebody who had a clean feed or whatever decided to put it out.
Fan. But by the way, he's joking?
That's what I mean. I'm pretty sure.
He's definitely joking about that. But I'm like what CeeLo said. I'm like, now that's in my head. I'm like, oh no, is he Drew Lock? Because I was all high on Jackson Dart last night. And this is the first negative thing I've heard about him. Does he dance around too much? I have no idea.
This will be the true test. Did the Giants have a Thursday night Amazon game this season, Manny?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they do. Nico's.
Week 6 against Philly.
Okay, so if Jackson Dart is playing in that game and he's getting just fully throttled by the Eagles defensive line, does Ryan Fitzpatrick say his arm angles are bad and he's dancing like Drew Lock?
But yeah, I mean,
then we'll know if he was really telling the truth.
So I know I'm showing you guys. You can see there's even, it says like 30 Rock CR7, some NBC.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but somebody who had access to it fired it out there. I don't know where it originated. So I'm sure somebody's like burner X account or something like that. But
but he is like, the things he's saying sounds like he's trying to be funny.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like, okay, I realize this, we're just either rehearsing or like Maggie said, blown takes, so let me just have some fun.
Yeah.
But because it made its way out there, people were like, whoa, what is this? So.
Yeah,
Drew Lock, by the way, is also I'm not even sure what that means. That's always been one of the most confusing quarterbacks ever. Like, I'm like, God, he looks like a really good quarterback, and then nobody ever seems to want him more than a year or two.
And a guy who just spent some time with the Giants and he's back in Seattle now, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of lost track. I think he is. I could be wrong.
Remember when Drew Lock, I'm sorry, Tulsa, when he knew that rap song by heart on the sideline with the Broncos, and everyone
I
thought
think it was
he was
a
like
Young
the
Jeezy
coolest
song, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had aura for about 5 minutes, and then he stepped on the field, and then all the aura went away.
But he's like 6'4" and looks like a good quarterback.
Yeah. Long list of guys who look like
I know. That's the thing about preseason.
Paxton Lynch also looked like a good quarterback.
Yeah. I got to tell you, CeeLo, I had a stat last week. Daniel Jones had a 140 passer rating as a rookie, and Eli had a 53 passer rating as a rookie. So I do not know what to do with this Jackson Dart performance.
In the preseason,
as a rookie.
Okay.
Yeah, like there are so many rookie. Maggie, tell them about Kenny Pickett.
You love Kenny Pickett.
I put him in the Hall of Fame because he was so
Yeah.
good in the preseason. So I was tempted to do that last night with Jackson Dart. I'm like, should I buy a Dart jersey?
I already have a gold jacket tailored for him, so.
It's different when those defensive coordinators start scheming and game planning to try and trick you rather than just playing vanilla coverages.
I'd like to do something now in the break because you guys made me think of this. Who are the top 5 guys who really looked the part and ended up being bad?
Just preseason or in general?
Just look the part. Just in general. Your top 5 of guys who, they looked like they were going to be great quarterbacks, and then womp womp.
Foosball or all the sports?
I'll do 5.
Foosball or all the sports?
Arm wrestling?
5
like we talked
quarterbacks.
yesterday?
5 quarterbacks.
Everyone come up with their list. The 5 quarterbacks who really looked the part never panned out.
Okay.
We'll do that next. 888-710-4ISN. Also, some Bill Belichick updates for you. 888-710-4476. Things are really nasty between him and the Patriots. We've got more next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Where the tennis streams collide.
Late to bed, late to rise. Checks out early, ain't no surprise. Never caught punching 9 to 5, but on a Denver court, he comes alive. Forehand blazing, backhand mean. The Mile High King with the Rubes to feet routine. Every serve is a dagger, every volley is sting. While Maggie and Perloff let the praises ring. Oh, Taylor's got the magic touch, beating you easy, beating you much. From Colorado play to a mountain song, he's been the ringer all along. Meanwhile, Jumble Sam lost at sea, hunting Pop-Tarts like a junkie at 3. Blueberry rappers on the studio floor, half asleep, laughing, still asking for more. Unprofessional, sure, but that's his brand. Coffee in one and crumbs in the other hand. Maggie rolls her eyes, Perloff sighs, Sam Sam shrugs it off, blames the sunrise. But Daily steady, cool and strong, while Drunkles hum the wrong theme song. Belotti's mixing the shifts undone, Daily's carrying everyone. Peter Belotti's chair is bare, echoes ring, was he ever there? No updates, no sound, just static hiss. A ghost on payroll who won't be missed. The red light blinks, the callers wait, but Belotti's punching out before the gate. Daily just grins, swings for two, taking over jobs Belotti won't do. Late nights, bright lights, Maggie holds the show tight. Perloff's crafting nerdy jokes. Sam's still searching for diet cokes. But Daily, oh Daily, he's the glue. With a surf so sharp, it splits in two. From Denver Hills to the radio air, he's the champion hiding everywhere. Radio Daily's anthem, sing it proud. From the tennis courts to the radio crowd. Late to bed, late to rise, checks out early, no surprise. He keeps swinging and proving wrong. This is the legend, the Daily Song. Maggie, I swear, I saw him last night, playing Denver for the morning light. Meanwhile, Sam was asleep in the chair, and Belotti, was he ever there? From the tennis courts to the radio crowd. Late to bed, late to rise, checks out early, no surprise. He keeps swinging and proving wrong. This is the legend, the Daily Song. Maggie, I swear, I saw him last night, winning in Denver till the morning light. Meanwhile, Sam was asleep in the chair, and Belotti, was he ever there?
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie, great. Andrew Perloff. All right, we left off last segment with a cliffhanger. Got into a discussion about quarterbacks who look the part but never really panned out. So in the break, I did my top 5 quarterbacks who looked the part, Perloff, but never had the great NFL career. Would you like me to go first? Or you want to go
definitely. I have 4 done. I'm working on my 5th.
CeeLo, you got yours too?
I got a bunch of
busts. You got a couple?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine goes 5-1.
Okay.
Quarterbacks who looked the part, who did not pan out. Number 5, Kyle Bowler. He came up recently.
Good one.
That guy could throw like 80 yards on his knees.
It was 50 on his knees. That actually happened. Not 80.
Unbelievable.
If he did 80 on his knees, that would be another thing. Okay.
50 on your knees is
It's
still
a good
pretty
one.
amazing. Number 4, this one is near and dear to my heart a little bit, and I always argue with our friend Ty Dunn about this. Rob Johnson. Not the most famous QB of all time, but man, did he look the part.
Easy on the eyes, that Rob Johnson.
And he was like 6'5" statue. Meanwhile, Doug Flutie was actually the much better quarterback at the time. The Bills went with Rob Johnson. Music City Miracle happened. Yada, yada, yada. Number 3 on the list is Brady Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Brady Quinn, definitely a guy who looked the part.
Too muscular, though.
Well, it's a weird thing to say about a quarterback, but he was muscles on muscles. Brady Quinn. Number 2, a little bit of a cop-out because he's still playing, but Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
I mean, does anyone look the part more like a franchise QB than Trevor? And so far, it's mixed results. And then my number 1 guy who looked the part, who never panned out, is our friend Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Ryan
looked the part for
Ryan
sure.
is huge. I mean, him coming out of college, it really was a debate, he or Peyton Manning. So that's my 5. Kyle Bowler, Rob Johnson, Brady Quinn, Trevor Lawrence, and Ryan Leaf.
Okay. I only have 4, but I went a little deeper here. Ryan Mallett, I was positive.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had outside issues going on, but he was gigantic and had the perfect arm. I could never figure out. I was like, Cardale Jones is amazing. When he was at Ohio, remember, came out of nowhere at Ohio State, was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, the Bills.
He was
Came to
so
play
tall
football.
and had such a good arm that I was sure he was going to make it.
A lot of Bills quarterbacks that didn't pan out before Josh Allen.
We could just do the segment on the Bills.
Okay. Do you guys remember Logan Thomas in college?
Yeah.
Vata
I
became
was
a tight
sure.
end.
Yep.
He was like built by God to look
Yeah.
like a quarterback and ended up being a tight end. The other name on here, Josh Freeman out of Kansas State.
Yeah.
First round pick. Actually did have some success, but I thought like, oh my gosh, like he is perfect. He is good to go. I also say Dwayne Haskins throwing the ball. That was like the most natural, beautiful thing I ever saw. I thought he was going to make it as well.
Yep.
Because he just threw a beautiful pass. Terrible, terrible loss. Never really even got a chance to have a comeback in his career. Those are 5 that jump to mind for me.
Yeah, we're talking about the guys who looked the part but never really panned out. CeeLo, who are a couple on your list?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys hit on a few. I'll add a few more that were busts. Not necessarily all of them like physically looking the part, but I mean, Jamarcus Russell as a bust.
Sure.
I mean, the guy was a thick, big monster and clearly drafted on physical ability, but had other things going on, as you said, as
Threw
well.
a beautiful spiral in his workout.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did. A couple of other high picks who were busts, maybe not as physically obvious, but guys that had a lot of expectations that didn't pan out. Achilles Smith with the Bengals, Joey Harrington with the Lions. You mentioned Brady Quinn. And then 2 guys who had major college success and never amounted to anything as close in the NFL and played in one of the more infamous college bowl games against each other. Vince Young and Matt Leinart.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Matt Leinart.
Vince Young more so because was more physically gifted than Matt Leinart. Vince Young did not have a great NFL career.
Right.
No.
But Vince Young also had that funny delivery.
I thought you were going to say Tebow, who had the great career,
Yeah,
but
but
then
all-
obviously,
the expectations
He did not
for him
look
at the
the part at
NFL
all.
level.
that's what I'm saying. Tebow doesn't apply for this conversation.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about guys who really
Yes.
look the part. Like Tebow was never really known to be the best thrower.
And Leinart and Young were both top 10 picks.
Yeah.
I forget what number Young went. I think Leinart was number 10 or definitely in the top 15.
I think Young, I want to say 2. And
Yeah,
he
I
won,
think 2.
He made a Pro Bowl his first 2 years.
He was okay.
But he was a bit of an unorthodox quarterback.
He was.
His release point was a lot different than
But
everybody's.
coming off of what he did in college, that was the Rose Bowl, I believe, right? USC and Texas. I mean, I remember talk about me
one
not
of the
being
most-
a big college fan,
Yeah.
but I remember vividly watching that game.
Vince Young was the 3rd pick. Matt
Yeah,
Leinart
those are
was
good
the
ones.
10th pick.
10th, okay. Arizona, right? Matt Leinart.
Did you
Yes,
guys just see
Arizona.
the funny video of Matt Leinart that was making its way on
Yeah, with
social
his
media?
son. Yeah.
His son asked Alexa, like, who was Matt Leinart? And they said Matt Leinart was a Heisman-winning trophy quarterback from
nice.
USC who did not have a good pro career. He did not pan out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
Matt's got a podcast with our buddy Jerry Ferrara.
Yeah.
It's really fun, actually. And I don't think they knew each other beforehand, but yeah.
Guys
Jerry's
who
a-
look the part.
Jerry's a lot shorter. Matt Leinert's gigantic in person.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the other thing. All these guys look the part. They're all like 6'5".
dudes, yeah.
When you're around them, oh my god.
2 honorable mentions, guys that when they came into, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Guys that got big contracts off of very little and then did nothing. Matt Flynn and Brock Osweiler.
I don't know. Brock Osweiler too tall. Just like Brady
I'm
Quinn
saying,
was
like,
too jacked.
they played a little bit, teams gambled on them, and then they were basically never heard from again.
I don't even. If Matt Flynn could walk it right now, and
Yeah.
we were there for that story. I'm not sure I would
It was
recognize
the beginning of
him.
Russell Wilson.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. This is Maggie Gray with a Sports Minute sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Bill Belichick recently told the Boston Globe that college football is more cohesive than the NFL. No cap guy, no marketing team, and quote,
out before the gate. Daily just grins, swings for two. Every dynasty's got its core. The secret spark, the engine roar. For Maggie and Perloff, we all know. Manny Rodriguez is the chromosome. Maggie drained 8 in a row, ice cold on the punt table. Perloff rolled 5 strikes, unstoppable, no fable. Schwartz circled the bases inside the park home. AJ went airborne, dunked between his legs, full throw. Maggie drained 8 in a row, ice cold on the punt table. Perloff rolled 5 strikes, unstoppable, no fable. Circle the bases inside the park home. EJ went airborne, dunked between his legs, full thrown. It's the legend, the myth, the life of the own. Manny Rodriguez, the chromosome. Every highlight, every love on the radio. He's the DNA, the soul of the show. Not just a voice, not just a name. Manny's the blueprint running through the game. When the lights go on, when the mics all glow, it's Manny's code in the Maggie and Perloff show. It's the legend, the myth, the life of the own. Manny Rodriguez, the chromosome. The Perloff, the pins to the Dunkin' throne. He's the fire, the core, the chromosome. So when you hear the laughter roll and the hot takes start to flow.
As if the Cleveland Browns quarterback room couldn't get more awkward, we get another twist. Last week, rookie Dillon Gabriel told CBS, quote, "There's entertainers and there's competitors."
Every dynasty's got its core. The secret spark, the engine roar. For Maggie and Perloff, we all know. Manny Rodriguez is the chromosome. Maggie drained 8 in a row.
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
A lot going on with Shedeur Sanders this morning. A lot. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, The headlines are never too far away when it comes to Shedeur. Some of it his fault, some of it not his fault. We got a couple things going on this morning when it comes to the Browns quarterback. By the way, still could possibly be in the mix for the backup job, potentially.
What is this backup job? All four of these idiots are going to play. Sorry, they're not idiots. We're idiots. I feel like you're paying too much attention to the backup job. Like, that's just the guy who comes in first, which I guess is the definition of a backup. All four quarterbacks are going to be on that field for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, as far as the juicier stuff, we'll get back to the football.
I don't think Shedeur is really in the mix for that backup job.
It depends. He got that start in the preseason game because of injury. There's been more injuries. Kenny Pickett doing 11 on 11, but that hamstring obviously has got to be an issue. And, the thing about your backup is you need him to be healthy first and foremost.
Well, yeah, but there's no reason to play Kenny Pickett in a meaningless preseason game. Just because he's not playing this preseason game doesn't mean anything. Nobody's playing. I've never even heard of the guy that the New England Patriots started last night.
Oh, I know. I had to look him up. Apparently he played at LSU. No clue. Anyway, I even forgot his name as we're sitting here right now. But anyway, to Shedeur. So some of the juicier stuff that's going on with Sanders. First and foremost, if you're paying attention to this story, and if you're a big Shedeur supporter, or maybe not so much, you probably remember last week when Dillon Gabriel happened to be doing an in-game interview with CBS. Dillon Gabriel was asked if he could, well, actually, you're going to hear the question here. Here's the full question, in-game interview about blocking out the noise.
You gave us some fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work.
Okay, so the entertainers versus competitors obviously got a lot of play, Pearl, because people took it as a not-so-subtle shot at Shedeur Sanders, not the media, which is who Dillon Gabriel was talking about.
Well, obviously, just on the logic of it, Aditi says, you gave us a great explanation before. So was this his second shot at Shedeur then? Is that what he's saying? Because Aditi's like, you've said this before. Can you share what you told us before? So by that logic, if Shedeur really thinks it's a shot, this is the second shot he's taken at her. Because Aditi's like, you've already said this before. Please share it again.
Yeah, I think people were confused because they didn't lay out that the outside noise is the media. Because to be honest, the media doesn't get compared to the players. We don't get compared where there's competitors and entertainers. We don't get compared to the players. We are not the players. We never have tried to pass ourselves off as the players. So when you say entertainers versus competitors, it kind of made Dillon Gabriel sound like he was talking about the guys in the room, not the media.
Yeah. No, it's a weird analogy. I totally agree. It's like, but I think he was asked a question. Picture yourself as a rookie quarterback. How do you deal with all the noise? And you cannot argue. There's so much noise around this quarterback competition. Yeah. How do you deal with it? And he said, me, Shedeur, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, we're competitors. We're not worried about the noise. You guys are entertainers. You have to create the noise, even though it has nothing to do with the competition of football. There's a logic there. It's a little clunky.
Yeah, I think you can always just say the thing that everyone says, which is we're blocking out the noise. And we're just focused on ourselves.
But that's what he is saying. He's saying, we're all competitors. We're about winning football games. That's exactly what he's trying to say.
Well, his own teammate, not really sure if he took it that way. So Shedeur Sanders is for some reason doing a press conference yesterday. I have no idea why he's doing a press conference. Technically, he is the fourth quarterback on the depth chart, about to not even start the third preseason game, but play in a preseason game. What other fourth-string quarterback are getting press conferences on random Thursdays?
Wait, does Tommy Cutlets in New York get press conferences? He should.
No, the agent should. The guy who came up with the Italian.
Yeah. Both of them should be up there together. But
3 tutties last night.
Yeah, I know. Look at Tommy Cutlets. Okay, so here's Shedeur responding to Dillon Gabriel, and it starts off good. He kind of downplays Gabriel's comments.
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, nah, bro, that He said that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm not tripping. Regardless of whatever it was, nobody's words or anything affects me.
Okay, so a natural follow-up question after he goes through that whole thing about words don't hurt me, but we did, kind of talk about it on the plane. So the follow-up question.
Did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did, he didn't. That's not going to change my life in any way.
So doesn't really let Gabriel off the hook here. When he asked, did you believe him? Did you believe that he did not mean to take a shot at you? Shedeur doesn't say, yes, I believed him. That would be the easy thing that he could say. Yes, I believed him. This is a misunderstanding. Instead, he said, I don't know. I have no idea. So, Shedeur is keeping the story alive for yet another day or multiple days now. And I think there is tension in the Browns quarterback room because there's an easy way to squash this. If Shedeur believed Gabriel was talking about the media, not talking about him, wouldn't he have just said that?
Well, now there's tension because Shedeur just made it tension. Because basically, if a teammate comes up and says that wasn't at you, that has to be on a well-run team, that's the end of the conversation, right? Like there's no, I don't know. You don't go to the press and be like, I don't believe my teammate. So he's saying, I think maybe Dillon Gabriel was lying to me. So this is 100% on Shedeur because Dillon Gabriel did nothing. That's how Shedeur is keeping this alive, as you said. I mean, Shedeur should have said, a teammate says that wasn't about you. That should be the end of the conversation. It's very unique that a quarterback could be like, well, kind of throw his teammate under the bus here. But we've seen Shedeur throw teammates under the bus before, so maybe that's one of his things.
Yeah, or, he has this sort of radical honesty, and he's, whatever the relationship is between him and Dillon Gabriel behind the scenes is one where, listen, they are competing against each other to make the team. So maybe he does feel like, hey, I don't know, clearly Shedeur, there's not a huge overwhelming trust between him and his teammate. Yeah. And Shedeur is so honest about what he's feeling in the moment that, he wasn't going to give Dillon Gabriel the benefit of the doubt. Now, a lot of people have been saying this. I said it first. A lot of people said it, but I did also bring it up that Dillon Gabriel did play for Dan Lanning for one season. Dan Lanning, Oregon head coach. Now, when Colorado played Oregon, Bo Nix was the quarterback at Oregon, but Dan Lanning famously said, they do it for clicks. We're here for wins. Oregon put that video out. They clearly wanted to send a message. They go out, they kill Colorado, they kick their butt. I know that Dillon Gabriel wasn't there at the time, but clearly Dan Lanning has an idea about how you go about things. Clearly he has a bit of a disdain over what Dion is all about and maybe by extension what Shedeur is all about, which is just going, getting a lot of hype. I wonder if Shedeur thinks that Dillon Gabriel maybe feels the same way about the Colorado program or felt the same way about his father. We have no idea, but the door's open now for all types of interpretations because Shedeur left the door open.
Well, I have a question then. So you think Stephen A. Smith, when he ripped Dillon Gabriel for attacking the media, was Stephen A. just dead wrong?
Stephen A. knows he's full of crap. He has to because...
I mean, Dillon was ripping the media.
Yeah, that's fine. But Stephen A. also understands, he has every right to rip the media just like the media rips players. That's part of the job. To stand on ceremony, for Stephen A. Smith to stand on ceremony when we're all in the opinion business seems like we all know what that's about. That's theater.
Yeah, I mean, listen, now that we were I really didn't even think much about it when this conversation, now I kind of get it. I probably wouldn't want Shedeur as my quarterback because my favorite coaches and teams, don't let, the odds of a Bill Belichick player ripping another Bill Belichick player in a press conference or 0.0. Andy Reid always tells guys don't say anything. It's Shedeur had an easy assignment there and he blew it.
Yeah. Do you think that stuff like this, listen, you put that and juxtapose though with the fact that he can play, right? We didn't see in the preseason. Good. Yeah, he can play. So are things like this, these sort of mini gaffes that happen at a press conference, is that going to keep him, do you think, from realizing his potential in the NFL?
No, I don't think so at all. I think some team is going to overlook everything because at the end of the day, they don't really care about what happens at a press conference. They don't really care about what Dillon Gabriel says in a sideline thing. Ultimately, if you can play, is the only way you're judged. Now, quarterback's a little different. I do think if Shedeur was more talented, if he was Andrew Luck, he could have said anything in any interview, and teams would always overlook it. I think he is closer to Kirk Cousins, who could be really, really good, probably throw 35 touchdowns in this NFL. But I don't think he can just say whatever he wants. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be so talented. And again, I'm sure some owners saw that quote and said, like, we were right. This is why we did not draft Shedeur. But I don't think the Browns really care. I think you mentioned it. Like, they're putting him up for a press conference. They are courting some of this noise. Probably, my theory is partly to distract them from the mess that was Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I think like they don't mind moving on from all the Deshaun Watson problems, and at least now we have a very interesting fourth string quarterback situation. We have this great QB competition. It sounds like they're eating it up, and I don't think they have a problem. Like Stefanski, if he has a problem, he's not going to say anything.
No, but it does feel like the Browns are getting all the juice from the lemon that is Shedeur in terms of like attention and all of that. Because you're right. Why would he be doing a press conference yesterday? It makes no sense. Quarterbacks this deep down the depth chart don't, especially rookies, don't do press conferences all the time. And Shedeur seems like he's out in front of the media at least once a week. I don't get it.
I'm very curious, and we'll never really know the whole story. After Shedeur said that, he goes to a room with Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco. Like, does Dillon say, dude, why'd you say that?
No clue. I mean, I don't know. Do you let
so.
the awkwardness sort of fester? Is that for the coaches to kind of diffuse? Does everyone just sort of ignore it and go on their day?
I think they ignore it and go on their day, and everybody's like, we have a job to do. We got to memorize all these plays, and I'm sure even Shedeur is not going to bring it up. I bet you it sits out there like an awkward bagel for a long time.
Yikes. Okay, so
Flacco and Pickett, you think those guys are bringing it up? You think Joe Flacco's has any emotional intelligence? I'm dead serious.
I don't know. They're quarterbacks. They're supposed to be good communicators.
You ever listen to a Joe Flacco interview? You think he's like, let's sort out our feelings? No.
What's 18 years in the league get you, right? A little emotional
Joe
intelligence.
Flacco won a Super Bowl. It was like, let's go to Wendy's. Like, this guy he's not Mr. Excitement. He is not going to play psychotherapist to two rookie quarterbacks.
Okay, so that's not the only thing going on with Shedeur. Dillon Gabriel now a little tense, a little awkward in that quarterback room, and you can weigh in at 888-710-4ISN. Here's another interesting wrinkle. So here's Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Fame running back, who was on a radio show in L.A. and had this to say about what he thinks happened with Shedeur falling to the fifth round. In fact, he knows it because he's talked to people.
As much as what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him, do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him.
Okay, so it was a little odd when the Browns did draft Shedeur 2 rounds after Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit strange. But Pro, what do you make of a league-wide conspiracy to send a message to Shedeur and then somebody, I guess, saying, no, don't do that. In fact, actually, Cleveland, you draft him.
I don't believe it.
Any of it?
No, I mean, I believe Eric Dickerson heard this. I think that there was a game of telephone and all the different messaging around Shedeur. I do think there were owners who were talking trash about Shedeur Sanders. Maybe not owners, but team executives who were talking trash about Shedeur Sanders during the draft process because by all reports, Sanders was somewhat rude in his interviews because he already had an idea of where he wanted to go and dismissed teams that he didn't think were going to draft him. So I think there are a lot of people talking trash about Shedeur Sanders, and that somehow became someone saying the NFL told teams not to take him. I think we're dealing in gray areas, and no, I don't think there was a very well-defined conspiracy theory to keep him out of the league.
I'm going to agree with you on the first part. I don't know why the owners or league executives would get together just because a kid in some interviews happened to be rude or whatever, or unprepared or seemed aloof or not interested. I'm sure this happens all the time. So I'm kind of with you there. Maybe there was like a little bit of like, what'd you say, game of telephone?
Yeah,
about
you know how there was
he's being viewed.
Something lost, translation going from source to source to source.
Now, where I do actually kind of believe Eric Dickerson is I do think that at some point someone in the league was making phone calls to say, hey, we got to draft this guy.
Who in the league would do that?
Well, I know that Roger Goodell did call the St. Louis Rams at the time and asked them to draft Michael Sam, who was an openly gay player, who would have been the first openly gay player who was drafted. And he was falling and falling and falling and falling. And Goodell wanted to make sure that didn't look like the NFL was actively blackballing a gay player. So we know that he has done this before. Obviously, that's a much different circumstance.
A very clear rationale for Roger Goodell there.
Of course. This, I think you want to make sure that the players' union or someone doesn't have a case to say, hey, what went on here with the NFL? Because
what would the union have to say about this? Like, what possible scenario is there? Like, saying what? You blackballed Shedeur Sanders because of what?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I'm not sure, but could Shedeur have had a case?
A case on what though? Like that it was some kind of discrimination?
Yeah, because of his last name, because of who his dad is. I don't know if that's I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if you can actually sue somebody based off of that.
Yeah, it's got to be race or sex or something like that is a part of employment law, not because you're Dion's kid.
I don't know. Is there an opposite of nepotism? You get dinged for being someone's son as opposed to promoted?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to lawsuit being like, well, you know what? There was too many cameras around me. You didn't draft me. Like, there's no there.
So the NFL, we know, owners did get together to talk about Deshaun Watson getting that fully guaranteed contract. They didn't like that.
Yeah.
And we know because this came out in an NFL Players Association investigation that the owner of the Chargers and the owner of the
Cardinals
were kind of high-fiving each other, congratulating each other because they both didn't cave and give fully guaranteed contracts after Deshaun Watson's to Kyler Murray and to Justin Herbert.
Yeah, which is ironic, by the way. That it's the whole nother discussion, but who gets served by not having large guaranteed contracts? The fans, so you don't have to hold on to a bad player for 5 years. Anyway, but besides the point, they probably should give out guaranteed contracts after Deshaun Watson, but that's besides the point.
But anyway, we know that the owners talk.
But again, that was they talk. That was that official collusion. The judge said, I can't prove where they're smoking gun where you guys actually had a sort of a set policy where you're going to do this. It's gray area.
It's hard to prove, right?
Yeah, you're in a very gray area.
Although MLB owners, I think, got dinged for collusion twice. Once in the 70s and once in the 80s. I think I'm right about that.
Over what?
Suppressing salary.
Well, that was but now the teams have a salary cap where 48% of the salary goes to players.
Yep.
So the money's going somewhere. It's just how they're dividing the pie. But regardless of this, what is the possible, that's a real issue. What is the scenario with Shedeur? Why would they officially blackball him or have a collusion against him? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Big Friendly on the line thinks that he has the motivation for why the league would want to blackball Shedeur. Big Friendly, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Maggie Malone. Daddy Cool, Big Hat Low, the one, the only Manny Wapo. Good morning, and thank you for taking my call. All right, Maggie Malone, let's go back in the time machine. Daddy Cool, keep your hands where I can see them. So, if you remember when Deion Sanders was on the Redskins and he asked for his release because he wanted to retire a Raider, he asked every team, do not sign me on waivers. Let me clear, I want to retire a Raider. Every owner agreed, but one owner that picked him up and Deion retired. And I believe it was his second or third interview after retirement, he trashed the NFL about that. So my opinion is...
Wait, why would he want to retire a Raider?
Wait, you mean play another year for the Raiders or a one-day contract?
Once again, this is a question for P. Matty, not me. I'm just telling you, this is from Deion Sanders' mouth, that he wanted to retire a Raider. He asked the Redskins to release him,
right,
so he could retire a Raider.
Wait, but Friendly, we're saying you're saying he wanted to play a year for them, not do that famous one-day contract.
I honestly, once again, Daddy Cool, I don't know the whole ins and outs. I just know that was his thing. So real quick, I'll get this out before you guys get rid of me. So I feel when he started trashing the NFL in retirement, they can't do nothing to him, but now the sins of the father roll over to the son. Chocolate Thunder, whose house? I'm out of here.
Big Friendly, thank you. And shout outs to the chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet. If you want to go hang with the Weedos and the coffee drinkers, they are a good time. I'm seeing this here that Deion wanted to catch on with the Raiders at the end. So he asked teams not to select him. And who was it? Washington did?
Chargers, I'm seeing.
Oh, Chargers. Okay. Then he actually did come back after being out of the league for 3 years and played with Baltimore.
Yeah. That's a wild story. No, it wasn't a symbolic one day.
No, he wanted to play.
Yeah. So retire Raider, I think was getting us confused a little bit. But that's a really cool story. I've never heard that in my life. Could be.
Man,
but
is
I don't
hanging
think so.
on to that?
I don't know. I feel like, you remember Jerry called up Dion this offseason to talk about the coaching job a little bit. I was not aware that the NFL had a major issue with Deion Sanders. He worked at their network for 15 years.
Yeah. And he wasn't anyone who got caught up in some of that stuff, right? Like, he just decided not to be a broadcaster anymore. Am I right about that? I don't remember how it ended with that lawsuit.
I think he started coaching.
Right. Oh, yeah. He left to go coach.
Yeah, I think he left to go coach. Then he did on the side Barstool.
Yep.
But I think he left NFL Network on his own right. So I don't know about this. I mean, that's as good a theory as I got. And that is the kind of thing that would upset the NFL.
To trash them?
Well, just you're talking about, like, that's a real issue. Like, I get that, arguing over a contract. Arguing over a guy falling just because of his last name, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So as I said at the top, lots going on with Shedeur Sanders today. Whether it's what's going on between him and Dillon Gabriel, which is clearly not settled, or now Eric Dickerson kind of parachuting in to say that there's some giant conspiracy to keep Shedeur out of the NFL, and then whoever it was changed their mind somewhere around the 5th round and said, no, please draft him.
So they Browns play the Rams at 1 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. Probably all 3 quarterbacks are going to play except for Pickett. I say 2 of the 3 get hurt, and I'm not counting out Snoop Hundley to win this job, Maggie.
It would be hilarious. 888-710-4ISN. All right, coming up, we do have some interesting quotes from Bill Belichick. What did he have to say? Taking more shots at the Kraft family. Do that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Okay. All right, ready? All right. This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. This is
Well, man, he strolls in with a grin on his face. Yankee pinstripes all over the place. But his chest is out like he's on the beach. Moist pork yells, button up, you creep. Oh, Manny, button your jersey. You ain't A-Rod, stop trying. Well, the game was tight, the crowd was loud. Then Judge went down, ain't no cheers now. Flicks are strained, they said real low, like a punch straight through my radio. Manny Rodriguez sitting 3rd row, with his Judge jersey and his heart broke slow. He stood up once, then he sat back down, poured that pain till he couldn't hear the sound. Now he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, talking to ghosts and cussing at the stars. Why'd you take my hero? What did he do? Whiskey on his lips, Yankee tears in his boots. Bartender said, son, it's just a game. But to Manny, it's blood running through his veins. So pour one more shot to leave on the line for the kid who lost hope when we lost 99. He played shortstop in a little league town. Swung like Judge, always dreaming big now. Had the poster, had the swing. Hell, he even rocked that pinky ring. But the Bronx felt cold when Judge went down. Manny just drifted to another round. Talking like Judge was a brother he knew, swearing he felt that pain too. Now he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, talking to ghosts and cussing at the stars. Why'd you take my hero? What did he do? Whiskey on his lips, Yankee tears in his boots. Bartender said, son, it's just a game. But to Manny, it's blood running through his veins. So pour one more shot and leave on the line for the kid who lost hope when we lost 99. He played shortstop in a little league town. swung like Judge, always dreaming big now. Had the poster, had the swing. Hell, even rocked that picky ring. But the Bronx felt cold when Judge went down. Man, he just drifted to another round. Talking like Judge was a brother he knew. Swearing he felt that pain too. Maybe tomorrow he'll find his way home. But tonight, that pinstripe heart's alone, and the world just don't feel right. When your hero's down and out for the fight. Yeah, he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, praying that rehab ain't too far. Come back soon, Judge, we need you bad. Man, he's got no tears left to be had. He don't want pity, don't want no side, just wants his hero back in that life. So pull one more shot and leave on the line till we rise again with our 99.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Love it. All right, Maggie. You've been talking a lot behind the scenes today about one of your favorites, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, let's hit it, Nico.
He's calling the plays, but she's calling the shots. It's time for As the Tar Heel Turns.
All right, well, this is not exactly a Jordan Hudson story, which is how the Tar Heel Turns was created, but it's still pretty juicy nonetheless. So this was Bill Belichick talking to the Boston Globe's Ben Volen, who went down to Chapel Hill to talk to Bill. And Bill was asked, what's the difference between coaching college and coaching in the pros? And Bill said, quote, it's much more cohesive, and I'd say unified in college. It's a view of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. It's a lot of football, and there's not much in your way. Now, he expanded. In college, there's no owner. There's no owner's son. There's no salary cap. Everything that goes with the marketing and everything else, which I'm all for that, but it's way less of what it was at the pro level. No owner, no owner's son. That's a shot. There's more from Belichick. Generic NFL teams, you have the owner, the president, the general manager, personnel director, college director, pro director, cap guy, some other consultant, then head coach, he added. I'd say that when we had our best years in New England, we had fewer people and more of a direct vision. And as that expanded, it became harder to be successful, end quote. So Belichick really going after the Krafts here and the organization to say, as you guys got more in my way, you saw the product get worse on the field. Do you think Belichick has a leg to stand on here?
Oh, definitely, because we've always known college coaches like I'm thinking of Urban Meyer and Nick Saban. In college, you are the everything. It's your program. So a lot of college coaches said, I can't go to the NFL because I don't want to share all that leadership. You know, we've known forever, like college, like it's famous. I'm into the Cowboys documentary, but Barry Switzer was God at Oklahoma. In the NFL, it does not work like that. The coaches really got to answer to the GM and the owner a lot of times. So I firmly believe Belichick believes that. Now, did he have to say what's the line that got, there were 3 words.
There's no owner, there's no owner's son.
Owner's son. I mean, could you be more specific, Bill?
Yeah, it's
You're not talking about the Giants. You were talking about the New England Patriots.
Yeah, it's Robert Kraft and it's Jonathan Kraft, who is obviously the heir apparent to his dad. Here's my one thing where Bill, and who I'm still scared of Bill Belichick. He still haunts my nightmares because he kicked my team's butt for 2 decades. But this is where Bill falls really flat here. I'm sorry, Bill, you didn't have control over the building? Get the hell out of here. Yeah, you actually were the GM. You were making all the picks.
Yeah. You didn't listen to anybody. Your scouts on draft night, it was just you and Nick sitting up there.
You and you and you and you. And you, I think that even, Bill Belichick was accused of kind of gatekeeping one part of this, the organization from the other, whether that was intentional or not intentional, because he wanted to be the only one who kind of knew exactly how everything got done. Do you remember when when Josh McDaniels came back for the third, fourth time? I don't even remember. And they said Bill's going to open his world to Josh McDaniels. I'm like, the dude's been working there for 12 years. He hasn't opened the world up yet. And by the way, speaking of sons, Bill's own sons were on the coaching staff. So,
yeah, great point.
I mean, this is where a couple of things here with Belichick. Again, I have all the respect in the world for his football acumen, obviously, but you're really going to call out the owner and the owner's son when literally Steve Belichick and his idiot haircut is on your staff.
Hey now.
And it's a silly looking haircut. And, you got to basically run as much as humanly possible. No one, it felt like, had more autonomy than Bill Belichick. And then here's the other part of this. Yeah. If you don't win at North Carolina, you don't think that there's going to be more cooks in the kitchen all of a sudden?
Like the like the AD and everything? Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You're going to have boosters. You're going to have the athletes themselves now who all have agents. You're going to have, people who are running the school, just, influential people in the athletic department. Good luck, Bill, if you don't think people are going to get involved or have something to say if you don't win a lot of games.
But didn't you say that Bill hinted that it got worse and worse? I think, I think the actual fork in the road was Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady. I think Bill wanted to move on to Garoppolo, and Kraft sort of engineered to keep Brady.
I know, but they won 2 more Super Bowls after that.
But that being said, I think Bill felt like he was losing some control. And then once he started to lose games, I'm sure he started to lose control a lot more. And I'll bet you Jonathan Kraft, he's like, well, you're not even winning. I'm going to make some decisions now.
It's possible. And that was the very, very end. But to be honest, do you really trust the Krafts? They had Gerard Mayo, the coach in waiting, for 5 years. He finally gets to the top job. Drake May doesn't look terrible, and they fired him anyway.
No, I mean,
it's not like the front office has a lot of credibility here either, right?
No, I'm not saying it's right. So they actually they won 1 Super Bowl after trading Garoppolo.
It wasn't the comeback, the Falcons 28-3, and also the Rams?
No. I think they lost to the Eagles. He got traded in 2017.
Okay, so they made the Super Bowl.
They made the Super Bowl,
and
but
then won one more.
But they only won 13-3. Does Brady really look good in that Super Bowl, Maggie? I mean, that was
better
not
than
that.
Goff. I
think Jimmy G could have won that. So maybe there is. I'll bet you in Bill's mind, doesn't it seem like that was the biggest fight they ever had? Was that particular issue?
I think Alex Guerrero, Brady's body man, was a big part of it. And
right, but that was Brady and Belichick. That wasn't. Was that Kraft and Belichick?
I don't know. Remember, Robert Kraft always had that line about my coach is a bleep hole, and I think Bill was kind of abrasive. I think he really didn't want. I think he didn't have time for the owner or anyone.
Yeah, and I think it got worse and worse towards the end, as any kind of relationship like that does. I mean,
but Brady winning the Super Bowl in Tampa,
that
had to really drive the stake in, because obviously Robert Kraft maybe feels like he chose wrong.
Bit of a misstep, you could argue, for Belichick. Belichick's famous for not creating controversy where none is needed, and now he's done a couple things this offseason in the media that are like why does he have to tell Ben Volin that? How's that going to help him win games in North Carolina?
Bill Belichick is done giving a bleep. He's dating a 24-year-old. He's calling out Kraft and Kraft's son.
You can take your bleeps and shove it up.
Yeah.
Where the sun don't shine.
Excellent point.
Let's get to Chris LoPresti. He's got the latest for us. What's up, CeeLo?
All right, let's circle back to the Dillon Gabriel clarification from that live in-game interview. There are entertainers, there are competitors. I'm a competitor, so for some, a perceived shot at one Shedeur Sanders, but Gabriel said, not the case. I was simply referring to the media, which he then explained to them.
All you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do, and I respect it. right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well. And I think, just understanding that, that's how I've lived by, and I've said that multiple times. So definitely not a new quote, but something that I've definitely said before.
Now
if you need any more evidence that journalism is dead, all of you in here are entertainers.
Yeah.
Like, who, the beat writers?
I guess.
We're entertainers.
We
They're
are.
journalists.
The line has been blurred over the last several years.
That's fair. Sorry,
If
Steve.
they were journalists, they would have remembered that
But
he
wait.
already said that, apparently.
So should Shedeur come after Dillon for every? Am I missing?
I don't know, but you had
Should Shedeur be
Sanders-
mad at Dillon for all those other comments too?
Perhaps. I don't know. But
Like,
here-
help me out here. Like, I still think we're not coming in strong enough on this. Like, Dillon Gabriel did not mean that about Shedeur Sanders. That seems to be the fact. That Shedeur wouldn't realize that. I'm like, come on, dude.
Well, Burl, like, what does that matter? If you say something to somebody and they interpret it the way they interpret it, what does it matter what the intent was, the way the person is taking it in? And CeeLo, I'm sure you're about to play the Shedeur Sanders clip.
Yes.
Shedeur's not taking it as he's not convinced that Gabriel wasn't taking a shot.
It does matter because if you say something, you should be taken for your word. It's called common sense. I think Shedeur is ignoring common sense. So, yeah, of course it matters. I think it's really important that what Gabriel's saying, like, yes, there was nothing. To me, like, it's just another case of hype. Like, people are making this into something that it isn't for their own personal reasons. Like, I think, and I don't know why Shedeur would play that game. I think it was a bit of a mistake.
Well, here was Sanders with the media yesterday, and he did say that Gabriel came up to him on the plane and, hey, I wasn't talking about you. And, okay, it seemed like he kind of was on board with that, and then asked if he felt Gabriel's clarification was the truth and genuine.
Did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did, he didn't. That's not going to change my life in any way.
That's sort of the non-answer answer that guys will sometimes give you.
No, he doesn't believe. He doesn't know.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he
He's
doesn't know if Dillon Gabriel was taking a shot or not.
Yeah.
He's not letting Gabriel off the hook here. Like,
Well, apparently, according to that logic, like, Dillon Gabriel's taken many shots at Shedeur. He's been taking shots consistently at him.
listen, I think there's leftover stuff between Dan Lanning and Dion and Oregon and Colorado. And I know Dillon Gabriel only went to Colorado for 1 year, and he was at Oklahoma, and he was at Central Florida, and I get that. But I think there might be some tension that goes back to that because Dan Lanning, it was very pointed what he said. Gabriel was not on the team, but it was very pointed. He said, they do this for clicks, we do this for wins, and then Oregon went out and kicked their ass. Like, that part of it. What was the final score of that game? Like 42-6 or something?
Yeah.
I got to look it up. But maybe there is a little lingering tension, even though Gabriel wasn't on that specific team that year Dan Lanning said it.
You know what's going through Dillon Gabriel's mind right now?
How do I make the roster?
Where is that ex-receiver supposed to go?
Yeah.
He is, I'm sure that dude is, and Shedeur are both swimming uphill to try and learn the playbook. The odds of all that baggage, like, Dillon thought he was saying something clever. And, I mean, why? Obviously, like, so how come, again, why was it controversial like the 5 other times he said it then? Because nobody knew about it, I guess, except for Aditi.
That's probably what it was.
I don't know. That's a great theory. I understand what you're saying. I do not think Dillon Gabriel is part of all that. Also, Dillon Gabriel, like, he's desperately trying to make an NFL roster here. He does not have time for any college rivalry. There wasn't even. Did he even play Colorado?
He did not, but they played the year before.
Yeah, like, because Bo Nix was there. Like, do you think Dillon
No, I'm
Gabriel
just saying-
cares about any of that?
No, but come on. Like, let's not be naive here. If you're in a locker room, say you're sitting around the quarterback room and everyone's talking about some of their college experiences, and it's like, well, Oregon did kick their butt. Colorado's. He wasn't there for it, but he did. Like, maybe there was a side comment, something snarky that got said, guys joking around. No, you don't think someone who went to Texas and Oklahoma, they're sitting in the same quarterback room, they're not like jawing at each other a little?
I mean, Dillon Gabriel's such a unique case. He played 3 seasons in Central Florida, 2 seasons at Oklahoma, and 1 season at Oregon. You think he's in there
a
like
lot of stops.
he's like, here I am, mister. Do you think he walks in the locker room wearing a duck uniform? He barely even remembers. This guy is a college mercenary. I don't even think he's like. I'll bet you he's not even totally aware of what everyone's talking about. Like the Dan Lanning thing. He was at Oklahoma at that time trying to get to the college football playoff. I do not think he's into this. No, I think honestly, he's like, I got to memorize this playbook right now. I honestly think that's what he's thinking. But maybe you're right. Maybe there's some subconscious thing there. And maybe it'll all come out in this 30 for 30, which is going to be amazing. And we're going to watch every second the second it comes out. But I do feel like if a teammate comes up to you and said, bro, that was not about you, you have to buy it and you have to go to the press and say, he said, even if you think he's lying, you go to the press and say, we're good. That's what you do as a teammate. You do not say, I don't know, let's open this Band-Aid and see what's in there. Like, why? What is Shedeur? What is Shedeur achieving by that? I don't understand, except being overly honest.
Let me give you one last Jerry Jones. We've been on this audio all morning with Michael Irvin on his YouTube show and Micah Parsons and the agent and everything going on with the contract negotiations. Here's the last one. Jerry turning to Irvin in recruiting mode to help him get the job done here.
Michael, why don't you grab Micah and come over here with him and come with me and sit down here and bridge this gap.
So again, we'll leave the agent out of it. So now we've got
also,
former player, owner, current player.
I'm going to be honest. There's like 40 other Cowboys I'd go to before I'd get to Michael Irvin to come broker this peace deal. I don't know.
He'd be number one with a bullet. What are you talking about? Michael Irvin could talk his way into or out of anything.
I don't know. Would he even show up? Like, I don't.
Michael Irvin? Oh. Yeah. He's great now.
Yeah, he'd be there. I think so.
Great now.
He's there, by the way. He's there.
There wasn't long ago that he was on thin ice.
For some really weird
random thing. But something weird is always following Michael Irvin. By the way, I would say that if he was sitting right here and he would agree with me and laugh about it.
But a few years ago, he came in to Dan Patrick's show, and I was like, well, I'm putting you in the will. You are the nicest, coolest person I've ever met. He is the most compelling personality there is.
Wait,
he's definitely the guy to reach out to Micah.
But you have watched now the Jerry documentary 3 times.
Yeah.
What do they do with Michael Irvin and all the drug issues in the White House?
That was 30 years ago. That was a crazy time. That was 1996.
Right.
Now Michael Irvin is the spokesman of Cowboys Nation. He's the star of the documentary. Yeah. Oh, wait. Who are you gonna? You're definitely not gonna put Troy. Troy is so negative. Like Troy would be like, yeah, Micah, you should probably leave. Emmett be good. Emmett's a big cheerleader, but no, Michael's the best talker. The funny thing, by the way, in the documentary, Paul Tagliabue says the Cowboys draft Marshall Irvin, which is hysterical.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then Tom Landry calls him Michael Irwin in the rookie camp. So,
which is amazing because he was one of the best college players ever.
Yeah, but Jerry didn't he call Micah Michael at one point?
Probably.
Yeah, Michael Parsons. We play the drop all the time.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Michael go talk to Micah. I think Michael could get this on. I think he will. I think you get Dion. If you get Micah Parsons sitting in a room with Dion and Michael Irvin, those guys could talk anybody into anything.
Nope, I'd be like, Jerry tried to do this BS with me. Don't fall for it.
That's a great idea, Eagles fan. I, as a Giants fan, approve that message.
CeeLo, thank you. Great job all morning long. Coming up, more for you from our college picks, the 12-team college football playoff. Perloff and I predicted who gets in, who wins, all of it, and you guys have a problem with our picks. So we'll address that next. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. All right, we got week 0, college football.
Yeah.
Real, actual college football is upon us, and more NFL preseason.
Well, as I say, it's a confusing time. 1 o'clock Eastern, the Browns play, and we have to watch. We get to see Joe Flacco for the first time in preseason.
Hooray. We've been watching him for literally 18 years. I don't need to see more Flacco.
But I had to be honest, like I was fired up for preseason last night. You got to pick and choose, because if it's a quarterback who's never going to make the team, then you can't watch it. So I was interested in Jackson Dart last night with the Giants, but the Patriots were going with some kid, Ben Woolridge, who I never heard of and I don't think is going to make the team. So you got, there are going to be certain games worth watching, certain games not worth watching. And I kind of feel guilty. Once actual college football starts, Maggie, I kind of feel guilty watching fake NFL football. It's like the Kansas State game counts.
Yeah, no, of course. And I'm sorry, I said Ben Woolridge somehow was on LSU. He's not. He was in Louisiana, the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't remember this guy at all. He was on the Raging Cajuns, not the Tigers.
Yeah, he was third in Heisman voting. No, I'm just kidding. Like
I don't think so.
He was, by the way, he was pretty good. I mean, I don't know.
Listen,
he's not the backup there, though, is he?
The biggest story, no. The biggest story coming out of yesterday is like we have there's been a couple stars here in this quarterback class for this year that we thought was basically Shedeur only. Jackson Dart looks like he definitely, we'll see what happens when the actual games start, but clearly he's turning heads in New York, which is really exciting. He was a good player at Ole Miss, but The Giants traded up to get him, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then Cam Ward is obviously not going to be a shy violet. So this quarterback, and Shedeur Sanders being obviously lead story by a mile, even though he fell to the 5th round, this quarterback class that was very much maligned could end up giving us some pretty big stars in the league. Whatever happens with Shedeur, we're sitting around talking about Eric Dickerson's conspiracy theories that he heard about the league blackballing Shedeur because of some sins from Dion or whatever, from how he left the league 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Pretty big stars feels like a rich statement to me right now.
Well, if Jackson Dart becomes a thing in New York, he could definitely be a star. And I think Cam Ward, you and I both just agreed before.
I'm a Cam Ward super
Cam
fan,
Ward,
but he's in Tennessee.
Could put Tennessee on the map, though. If you're, See,
but we're still a long way away from, for both guys, especially Jackson Dart, from saying they could be big stars, but they might not be.
Oh, possible. Yeah. But this quarterback class got labeled as being like a bunch of nobodies.
Well, I think it was Cam Ward and a bunch of nobodies. It was Cam Ward and a gigantic cliff. So I don't think Cam Ward's coming out of nowhere. He was the number 1 overall pick. So he better be good, right?
Yeah. I see you and I disagree. I think you can be a star in any franchise in the NFL. You don't think so? Wait,
what? What do you mean?
It doesn't matter. Tennessee is off the radar now, but you can be a huge star in Tennessee. You can be a huge star in Arizona. So Cam Ward will put them, I think, on the map. I think if Jackson Dart has turned some heads in New York, he's going to get inflated because you get a New York bump maybe, and all of that. And he seems like he's got a pretty good personality. And then, everyone's glued to see what happens with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I always saw this class as Cam Ward and nobody else. The Jackson Dart one is the surprise to me. I don't honestly think Shedeur is going to get a fair shot for a long time. I think it's going to take a while. I don't think Dillon Gabriel is quite good at star level. I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to play for a long time in Seattle. I think he's third string now.
Tyler Shuck would be the other.
Yeah, I have no expectations for Tyler Shuck. I think this is going to be. I think it's more likely that it's a 1-star class. Jackson Dart, okay, he does look great, and I'm into it too.
Yeah, you're going to trample Manny's dreams.
Starting talking star for the Giants quarterback. He's
I'm
not
talking
even
Hall
starting.
Of Fame. I'm talking Hall of Fame, baby.
Yeah. I think
even Eli's not in the Hall of Fame
yet. I had to pinch myself last night. I'm like, don't do the Kenny Pickett thing. Don't do the Kenny Pickett thing with Jackson Dart. I think you just Kenny Picketted him, which is when I declared that the Steelers were going to win the Super Bowl because Kenny Pickett looked good in preseason.
Yeah.
I think you are just like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit here on Jackson Dart.
I'm just saying it's a possibility. It is.
Anything's a possibility.
And by the way, I think what the bigger thing about Dart is I don't see how at this stage in his life and career, Russell Wilson keeps him off the field. If you actually had I'm not saying Russ is not a legit starter. Of course he's a legit starter, but I don't think anyone is really clamoring in New York to see Russell Wilson win 6 or 7 games for you. That's not the point.
No.
So I think that's the other part. I think after last night, it's not so much that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, Jackson Dart's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I thought, we're going to see him a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah, but he could end up being closer to Daniel Jones, who showed flashes, but really was not ultimately did not become a star.
No, but Jones was drafted 6th. I mean, he was really overdrafted.
Right. But I'm just saying, Jackson Dart looks good at preseason. Where's Jameis fit in? He's the 3rd-string quarterback? Why is Jameis your 3rd-string quarterback? Shouldn't Jackson Dart be the 3rd string, and if Russell gets hurt, Jameis comes in?
You'd think so.
No, I think Jackson Dart starts QB2, and then Jackson Dart's in week 2.
Then what's Jameis just going to be your cheerleader?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd like that.
Something like that. Mandy Rodriguez, Nico Scarlatos, thank you. Chris LoPresti, Andrew Kaplan, the Weedos.